ear, focused on my own way, with never looking back to those who lived in fear. There was nothing I could do, there was nothing you said that could make me realize how much lucky I was. Just out of reach of the fire, was not aware of this nightmare. But when I stopped to see through sight, begging for help, begging for hope, just need to open my eyes now to try to change into sunshine, to be someone among others. I've got to try. If I bleed tonight, if I am sad tonight, I don't
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome live tonight here at Pocono Raceway. That's right, the tricky triangle here for racing for a Cause Cresson Candle Company Trucking Series. And these boys, man, are about to tackle this place. 3 turns, and it's a huge 3-turn one at that. So, as always, hey, I'm Joe White. I'm up here in the booth, and I'm accompanied by old Davis Richards tonight. Davis, how you doing?
Hey Joe, I'm really excited to be back here. It's been a couple weeks. I've missed broadcasting with you, but hey, we're going to see some real fast drivers out here. We got a brand new build. We got some trucks handling a little bit of different tonight, and they're going to try to take on this 3-cornered Pocono Raceway.
Yeah, no doubt about it. They definitely are, man. Tricky Triangle is what they call this place. We're in the middle of practice right now, folks. Got about 3 minutes left, and we head into qualifying. What's going on, everybody out there? Tim, old Greenway's out there himself, and I see old Kimmo out there. Awesome to see him out there, man, checking out all the action and all the other viewers. As we're live tonight here on YouTube, Twitch, Facebook Live, man, bringing this thing to you here at Pocono Raceway, Pocono, Pennsylvania. That's right, the triangle style track. What do you think we're going to see here tonight, Davis? I mean, it's a whole new build, too.
Yeah, I think these drivers, if I had to say, I think they're going to take it really easy the first half of this race, try to get a feel for the track. They're out here practicing right now, getting a feel for it. The trucks are a lot slower than they are before. They got a new downforce package with them as well. The front has more downforce, so it's going to be more equal to the rear of the car. And these drivers are also going to have to take care of their tire wear. Reading the new update builds, they said that they added a lot more tire wear, and the truck times and the tire fall off are going to be more similar to the real-world counterparts.
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, they've got a little bit of things out here that they're actually, they implemented some things that we're definitely going to keep a note of, you know, watch out for. Most notably, the drivers are going to be the one that feel it. We might be able to see it up here and see how they actually race this track and whatnot. Tire management, that's something that will be talked about, because that's the big one that they updated. The tires and the physics of how they drop off throughout their entire race. So it's something we're going to have to keep an eye on. And if you go out there and try to blister a pace, well, eventually that thing might fall off, and the guy saving tires will go blowing right by you.
Yeah, you used to back, well, I say back in the old days, like yesterday, if you go out there and you hammer it real hard for the first 5 laps, and you'd have some tire fall off, but it wouldn't be that severe. If you try to do that with this build, you're going to be on the last car on the lead lap come 15 laps later. But another thing we need to pay attention to is pit stops. And that's because I did a little few practice with the new build, and I probably spun it out 2 or 3 times just trying to get on and off pit road. Yeah,
no doubt. Well, and you know, you talk about the pit things too. Unfortunately, on the broadcast, we won't be able to see it, but they do have actually animated pit crews now. So little guys, man, you're driving the car. The drivers see them because they're racing. They come out there and they do all the work. It'd be kind of cool. Maybe hopefully the iRacing implements that in the spectator mode, and it would be cool to see going on. But that is something else new. As we are in week 13 here of iRacing, they're doing the big build. They brought out the rally cross things, and I haven't had a chance to go and drive any of them. Watched a few of them. Guys out there slinging up dirt and asphalt, jumping jumps and everything else. That's kind of cool, but I don't know. We got a good race here tonight. Pocono, these guys are going to have to tires. I mean, we were talking about that a minute ago here, Davis. Tires. This place can eat some tires up. That's something we're going to have to be mindful of, or they're going to be mindful of as a driver as we get done with practice going to qualifying.
Yeah, they're definitely going to be mindful of that, and it's going to be interesting to see how it all plays out at the end tonight. But as we get done with practice here, we got Joshua Spalding first in practice with a 37.731. And then we got Steve Baker with a 37.748. And then Chris Medford in third, Dustin German in fourth, and T. Roy Radford in fifth with a 58.090.
Yeah, no doubt. Definitely here. Some fast boys out here as they're getting set to go into qualifying and get this thing, man, underway here tonight as we're getting set here to go. Green flag racing around the tricky triangle here at Pocono, Pennsylvania. That's right. So, like I say, I appreciate everybody coming out here as always. As right now, watching Troy Radford. Looking like he's going to take out here and get a good time. Let's see what he can actually put up out here around this huge track. And again, I can't wait to see what these guys and how the driving differs from what we're used to seeing.
I think it's going to be a whole different ball game, Joe. Like I said, I got a chance Monday. I ran Atlanta with the trucks, and I was able to go flat out in 4. Today, I ran Atlanta with the new build. You had to let completely out of the throttle. Tried to go full force, ended up hitting the outside wall, but it's like it sucks you down into the line with that new downforce package, and it's just a completely different animal. I think we're going to see a whole nother style of racing tonight.
And I agree with you there. A whole new different style. I mean, these guys are just going to have to change their mentality on how they put this thing around here. Well, it's going to be a good one here at Pocono. Oh, there Chris Medford up into the wall a little bit on his qualifying run. Guys have got 3 laps here, and I believe either 5 minutes or 3 laps, whichever one they can get in first. Right now, Douglas, I always say Wasaki, but I don't know if that's right or not. What do you take a gander at it there, Davis?
Hey, Douglas, yeah, I'm going to say Wasaki. I don't know. We'll have to get in him and ask him because, but I'm going to say it's going to be Wasaki or Wisaki or Wasaki. I don't know. Don't ask me.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with Wasaki. He has yet to correct me on that, so I'm gonna say I'm either close, he doesn't mind, or that's right. Either one. So, hey, it's a good guess either way, man.
Yeah, it definitely is, but it's definitely going to be able to see if he can get up near the front and it can make some things happen up here today, because we got a pretty decent-sized field tonight as well.
Yeah, we do. Got 18 of some bad, fast boys and some bad, fast monster trucks on a bad, fast, tricky triangle here at Pocono, Pennsylvania. These guys, man, are about to do business here and qualifying. Now, you got that man right there, Dustin German, Troy Radford, and another one out there. Let me see if I can't find it. Ryan Nolan. Now, you get those cats around each other, oh, it is definitely a fight, man, to the end.
You're absolutely right, Joe. And Ryan Nolan right now, he's leading qualifying with a 57.695, with T. Roy Radford with a 57.816. And as I say that, I was noticing Ryan Nolan right there on his 3rd qualifying lap. He went to do a practice pit stop, and when he came into the pit stops, he locked the brakes up and ended up hitting the wall. So that's, like I said before, pit stops are going to be a thing to watch tonight, because they could mean getting first place or coming home with an 8th, 9th, or 10th place.
Yep, you got you on that one. Definitely, it can be all or not, and we'll just have to see what happens here as we're getting closer time to the green flag, folks. Definitely, actually, get your refreshments in. Tell everybody in the house be quiet. Time to go to sleep. Batten down the hatches. Tell the dog and the cat, and if you've got a mouse or gerbil or anything like that, as you can tell them, quit wheeling around. My bird's put to sleep and he's good to go. Hey, so that's a good one there. The neighbor, well, she ain't at home. Ain't got to worry about it. Tell yours, it's race time, folks. Pocono style. Racing for a Cause. Cresson Kendall Company Trucking Series. As a man on pole, Ryan Nolan, we were just talking about. Look at that. Jay Weezy, Gerald West, we know who that is.
We definitely do. He's up there with a 2nd place with a 57.746. He's going to be another guy to watch, see if he can come up here and get himself a win.
Right, and he has already got 1 win here in the Racing for a Cause. He won a couple weeks ago there, Davis. Fine fashion, pulling that thing off. It was an awesome win he got. That's another guy out there too, Joshua Spalding. We have to watch out for him throughout this entire race. We got some good guys out here that definitely at any point at any given time can pull this race off, man. So it's going to be very interesting. We're getting set to go green flag racing.
We are, and they don't call this thing the tricky triangle for nothing. I'm telling you, fans, invite your family, invite your friends, and tell them to watch this race, because it's going to be a good one.
No doubt. Well, let's put this thing up here. Actually, let's put it up here because it's showing. Oops, actually, my bad. Let me do that again. Ryan Nolan putting it on pole here tonight. Gerald West right there sitting in 2nd spot. And man in 3rd, Troy Radford. Got Steve Baker sitting in 4th. Dustin German starting 5th. Brian Beach right there in 6th. Phil Otto in 7th. Timothy Hale starting in 8th. 9th place, Andy Lambert. Charles Widener rounds out the top 10. As we look through the rest of this field, like I say, we got about 19 of some awesome bad boys right there, about to get set and do some awesome things around this triangle style of a track.
They definitely are, Joe. And like you said, triangle style track. This track is completely different than any other track we go to on the circuit. And if you're not careful, it'll sneak up on you and end up hitting that outside wall. And every single corner is different. So that's another challenge these drivers are going to face too. It is not the same routine every corner like when we go to those different mile and a half. You got to play each corner differently, get on the brakes a little sooner, get them on a later, get on that throttle, and you got to watch for wheel spin as well.
Yep, absolutely. Well, here we go. About set to get these boys, man, are going. As everybody out there definitely is. Kimo out there said, "What is this sleep you speak of?" Yeah, I've had a few days like that too. I, get some sleep every once in a while. But who knows? Here we go. We're about to set sail, and these guys that pace car up front is going to send these guys around one lap, pacing around here. Let them go and do their thing. I don't know if it's going to be interesting of how much this actually spreads the field out when we watch this race at the start.
Yeah, definitely as well. I think it's going to take them about a lap or so to get all sorted out. But I think after that first lap, these drivers are going to really take it easy and see how the cars handle as well, because they don't handle differently by themselves. They also handle differently when you're with another car. I raced at Talladega earlier today, and you could feel the aero of the car pushing you around to the left, to the right, and it made the car extremely loose. And when someone dropped out of line, your car just wanted to hang bad to the right.
Well, might be some good characteristics of like the real style racing, as we see on the guys there. I'll tell you, old John out there throwing out all kinds of knowledge out there. Absolutely. I'm doing winter classes. I hear you. Yeah, well, hey, we got some good things coming up this weekend. I know this Saturday, December the 8th, we've got the so kind of a snowball derby, Sim500. That's a doubleheader night there. It's going to be kind of cool. Then this Sunday, we're going to go to another league. I'll get all the info for you, man, before we're there. And tomorrow night, we're off on ExtremeMotorsports99.com, but I'm going to be guest commentating on Off Camber TV, so folks run over there to be doing a dirt series with those guys, calling some action with them. So I was invited over to do that. So we're getting set here to go green flag here at Pocono. So we've got a fun-filled week so far.
Hey, it's never a bad night when you're watching some great NASCAR action with Joe White, ain't that right?
Yeah, and eating a cookie.
Eating a cookie.
Trying to get it in before they start.
Well, this race is definitely going to be interesting, so pay attention here, boys, because this thing is going to be one to watch.
And that's right. Pace car comes out of turn 3. We'll duck off on pit road and let these boys go. As a green flag flies, here we go. I'll see them run over the camera here. As they start off, they're going to be double foul heading into turn number 1. And that's the thing we got to watch out for. This long straightaway. If I'm not mistaken, I think they call that ain't that the Long Pond straightaway heading into turn 1?
Yeah, it's definitely the Long Pond straightaway. As they head into turn 1, you got the number 86 of Jerry West is going to look to the outside of the number 87 of Ryan Nolan, and he's not holding back anything right now. He's going to try and grab that lead as they come into 2.
Absolutely. Up front, you got Ryan Nolan still there, but he's got the man on the outside of him, the 86. That would actually be Gerald West right there. And Steve Baker, don't count him out. He's back off suspension, back out here as their nose-to-tail single file on a freight train. Coming down here on the back stretch, I think they're heading into what they call the, actually it's just turn 3. Usually the tunnel turn 2. I have to get my all turns right.
Sort of like kind of calling a road course here, but as you see the number 00, Timothy Hale, he tightens up the number 7. You've added, I'll get the names right here in a second, folks. Andy Lambert, and he makes that pass on the outside as they come down the Long Pond.
Yes, they do. Well, I'll tell you right up front, they're still, man, in a parade of trucks. Nose to tails, they head into turn 1, but you got to go back to the 70. Like you said, Andy Lambert, he's got his hands full with the 59 of Charles Widener right on the outside, but he takes that spot coming out of 2. As up front, they are going door to door. Steve Baker says, not so fast. I want this lead, and I'm going to come after that man in the 87 machine as he dives on the inside, heading into turn number 2 right now.
And I think these drivers right now, they're starting to see some of those ill effects of the new build as they're trying to keep these things under control. And as you see Jerry West, he's going to try to go under the 55 of Steve Baker coming in here to 3.
No doubt about it. Sorry about that. Had to open a can up from a little one.
And as we see the
only one here at the house.
Doing double duty.
That's it. There you go. Multitasking.
Well, we see the number 87 of Ryan Nolan. He was able to get to about a half a second lead going down that straightaway, but then the number 55 of Steve Baker, he really runs him down going into 1, and he's cut that lead in half to about a quarter of a second.
He has, and he's right there on his back deck lid. We see Troy Rafford going the inside there, Gerald West, the 86 machine, and take that 3rd spot away. So it's going to be interesting to see if Steve's just going to kind of ride there, save the tires. Here's the thing, too. If these guys haven't got a lot of practice in these trucks, right now is the time where they're trying to fill this thing out. What do they need to expect? You got a battle for second. You got a battle for the lead up front. I thought there for a second Steve was going to look on the inside, but he thought better of it. Look at that, Gerald West and that man Troy Rafford, they're going door to door.
And I think we're seeing Jerry West right now in the number 86. I think he knows the new build, the new tires and everything, and I think he's saving his tires. So he's definitely going to be someone to watch here in about 5 or 10 laps. I think he's going to end up being in the front because he's got a plan right now, I do believe.
He does. Another one right behind him there, Dustin German, probably looking out. And that's what I'm saying. These guys right now are definitely will have it. No, unfortunately, I've tried everything I can do. Spectator mode, they won't show the animated pit crews. I was kind of bummed about that, but hopefully, man, iRacing, you know, they'll at least get 1 or 2. You can see the little guys on the wall, but they won't come out there and do anything. And I was like, wow. But basically what we're talking about right now is this guy saving tires. And it looks like Dustin German's looking on the inside coming out of 3. Now, turn 3 here, flat style, almost flat. And you come out of that turn, you definitely got to hold on to him because he can get real slick coming out of that turn.
Yeah, it really can. Got to use a lot of brake, too, after coming down that long back straightaway coming into the corner. And that turn can be one of the most trickerous of the
that's
entire
a good word
track.
Right there. That sounds like one of my words.
I don't know if that's actually a word, but we're gonna make it a new one here on the What's Hard
We got
Network.
some trickery stuff going on out here. That was good. I like that.
Yeah, no doubt. But things are definitely getting heated up there for the lead in the middle of the pack. At the end of the pack, there's action all over.
Yes, they are. I mean, up front, you still got Steve Baker right there climbing on the back end of Ryan Nolan, not letting him get too far. Again, I just got a feeling these guys are filling out what this new build, new truck, what this new tires will do, how far they can push the truck before it falls off. Again, the tire model here is the biggest thing that they're going to have to worry about because they're all single file.
They definitely are. As we see the number 55 of Steve Baker, he's right on the deck lid of the number 87 of Ryan Nolan. I think he's going to try to look to the inside and turn 1, and he thinks better of it. He lets off, but he's going to try to get him on the exit as they're coming straight out of 1.
Yeah, it is going on the inside looking at it, but can't quite get it done yet. Thought better of it. Boy, he is up against that wall. And look at Ryan Nolan trying to break the draft coming down that stretch there as they head off. I believe they're heading off into turn 2 as we speak. Am I right? Turn 2? Nope. Yeah, turn 2. My bad. I'm in a little closer view than the backside view.
Yeah, but as he's looking to the inside right now, is he going to make the pass as they come into 3? I don't know if he's going to be able to pull it off. If he breaks a little earlier than the 87 of Ryan Nolan, he's going to get right behind him, and he's not going to be able to pull off the pass.
No, he's not. That inside line didn't work for him coming out of turn 3, heading down the long, long straightaway. And you see Ryan trying to break that draft so he doesn't get a run heading into 1. Because we know, and you know, that's a place to where you'd want to make the pass if he can go off in there. Very bumpy style turn. You got to back that thing down very, very hard, like, because you're bringing some momentum and speed heading into it as you come out of one, head down the little short chute.
And what I'm seeing right now is the number 55 of Steve Baker. He's getting a better entry than the 87 of Ryan Nolan. The Ryan Nolan is able to get a better exit, and by him getting a better exit, he's able to get a bigger lead going down the straightaways.
Ah, I got you. Well, Kimmo out there says turn 1, Trenton Speedway, turn 2, Indy, turn 3, Milwaukee. Now, I know turn 2, as they call it, the tunnel turn. So that's the one I know, but that might be kind of like the sponsors' names. Who knows? But either way, hey, right now, Steve Baker, all he sees on the back end of Ryan Nolan is a bunch of cats from the Humane Society machine out front. Ryan Nolan still leading this one in the 86, but he has got a whole rear view mirror full of that 55 machine of Steve Baker's. We're at lap 88 of 100. He looks on the inside. Can he make it stick coming out of the turn this time?
I didn't think he was going to be able to, but he does get it right up to his quarter panel, and he is going to pass it. Wow, he made that look easy.
Yes, he did. Boy, bulleted right by him right there on the man up front. The 87, I got a feeling that might be what we're saying. We're talking about saved tires. Be very methodical on trying to go around these guys. Look at Troy Rafford. He's closing in the gap there a little bit, thinking he might could take second spot. Just going to be a matter of time, I believe, and see what these guys can do.
It definitely will be, and you know he's got to have some strategy going into that, because he made that pass look just way too easy.
Yeah, made it look easier than what I probably could do. Oh, well, as we say that, Troy gets a slick coming out of turn 3 and almost loses it.
And that's something we're going to watch out too, is coming out of 3. It's one of the most trickerous, is my new word for the night, turns out on the track, like we noted earlier, and I think we're going to see that one all night. As you see the number, who is that number? The number 18 of Brian Beach gets right up on the deck lid of the number 94.
I got you. Well, the 18 right there looking good. Brian Beach pulling it up in the 6. So you got about 4 trucks right there. Gerald West, Dustin German, Troy Rafford, Brian Beach, all in a single file line. As Troy's just going to try to calm down a little bit. See, hey, look, I need to save these tires, cool them back down. See what happens. That's another thing we need to see. If once you heat up one of these tires, can you cool it back down and get a run back on something and going again?
Well, we're definitely going to have to pay attention to that and see. And as I noted earlier about Jerry West, I thought he was sitting back there and saving tires. He's been running the fastest times of the entire race.
No doubt about it. Oh, we got a battle, though, behind him back there. You're actually talking about Andy Lambert and company. You also got Chris Medford back there. They're going door to door down the long straightaway. Joshua Spalding looking in the inside, coming into turn 1. He's got that Napa know-how machine. He definitely knows how to drive that thing to the front.
He definitely does, and we got a swarm of cars back here in the back, as they're about 5 deep, and they're definitely making it interesting.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, right now you got, like you said, you got the 8th place machine, Joshua Spalding behind in. You got the Ozzy, the number 66 of Phil Otto. That's the Ozzy man. Chris Medford, he's sitting right there in 10th place spot, and the 44 and Andy Lambert. So you got about 5 trucks right there, all nose to tail. And you were talking about a little further back, probably. A little spread out the further back we go.
They definitely are, Joe, but there's battles all over this track. And it looks like the number 44, Chris Medford, it looks like he's been flirting with that outside walls. He's got a bit of right side damage. Yeah,
well, I noticed a lot of these trucks were pushing up near that wall. We saw Steve Baker when he was up there battling for the lead, got really close to it. That might be a thing to where this thing might be pushing a little bit, and then it pushes and just kind of slides. And next thing you know, hey, that wall is, look at Troy Rafford. He is hanging on to that thing coming out of turn 1. He was all kind of sideways.
He is, and we've seen him get it sideways a couple of times tonight, but these drivers got to realize, hey, they got 89 laps left here. Hey, you got to have something to drive to the end if you're going to make it to the end.
Yeah, that's right. You don't want to drive the darn tires right off of it. And that may be a product with too, like we were just sitting there talking about. We can't get enough of what we're talking about, because we can't feel it. We're not in the trucks with the drivers, but tires. These guys need to know how far they can push it. Now is the time when you would want to do that, because you can actually, capitalize or bounce back from a mistake. So if Troy's over driving that truck right now, he's probably seeing how far he can push it, and then later on in the race, that might be a benefit for him.
Yeah, and I completely agree with you, Joe. There is nothing wrong with that. Seeing what he can do in this race. This is a completely new build. Just came out today. All these drivers are on the same playing field. But one thing is he can test it all he wants. As long as he doesn't wind up in the wall, then he's good to go.
Oh, yeah, winding into the wall would be disastrous on his end. Well, folks, man, we're here at Pocono, Pennsylvania, our Pocono Raceway here for Racing for a Cause, Cresson Candle Company Trucking Series. These boys right now, they're at lap 12 of 100. They're getting a little spread out. We got a little bit of race, though, going on here for third spot. And look at that, Ryan Nolan right now in trouble as he's got Gerald West. We might be starting to see the beginning of when these tires starting to fall off.
I think we are, Joe. We saw Ryan Nolan dominate the first 7-8 laps, and now we've seen him fall back in to the second, third spot. So, and Jerry West is right on his back bumper, and we seen him. He laid back a little bit, let people go when they needed to go, and I think that's paying off for him right now.
It is, and he's under fire right there. Ryan Nolan is by that man in the 86 machine, Gerald West, going to try to do everything he can because, boy, Steve Baker has just checked out and is long gone. Got a 2.1 second lead right now over these group of trucks. I just got a feeling, like I say, Dustin German, he's right there behind them. Those guys are just in cruise mode. They're going to see, man, how long these tires actually can last.
They definitely are, Joe. They're definitely in cruise mode, seeing what they can do, seeing what they can work with. But you're right. Steve Baker, we've seen him go really hard at the first of the race to get by Ryan Nolan, and he's up to a 2.1 second lead. And as I say that, Jerry West looks to the inside of the number 87 of Ryan Nolan.
He does. Looks on the inside. They'll go door to door. Looks like he's going to take that spot away as they head off into one here again. And he does. Makes that pass. So I just got a feeling Gerald's one of those that's going to, as I say that, here comes firing back on the outside. As they come out of one, well, he gets a little bit wiggly doing it. But he is definitely holding his own door to door there in a battle for second spot.
He definitely is. And they're side by side right now as they're going to come into the tunnel turn. And we're going to have to see who's going to pull it out. The inside looks like it's faster on entry, but that outside, they're able to maintain that momentum on the outside and able to get a heck of a run going down the straightaways.
Yeah, and he made that pass going into second spot. Going to try to bring Dustin German, his teammate, along with him. Ryan Nolan's not done as they head into three. Hey, he's going to try to drive it in there. He's got to be very, very careful. Another thing I'm noticing here, going into turn three, I used to always kind of go in the middle of the turn. Looks like they're able to use the bottom of the turn here. So maybe something different that we don't know of grip-wise and what they're needing to use and so forth.
Well, I know in the latest build they updated all the tracks as well to have a to take on more tire wear and for the dynamic track to take more shape and form as the race goes on. So I think that's definitely coming into play as well.
Oh, okay, good deal. It's just something, I mean, like I say, iRacing involving all the time. Every week 13 definitely is awesome. What's going on, Tom, out there? Appreciate you coming in and stopping in. As always, appreciate everybody. Great race happening right now here at Pocono, Pennsylvania. Actually, Pocono Raceway, my bad. And then, if everybody don't know, you hear me say it on Racing Freaks all the time. Home of the stock car racing experience. We got a pass happening for second. Look at Ryan Nolan being very aggressive, diving that thing on the inside.
He was able to clear him for a second on the inside, but Jerry West said, hey, wait a minute, I'm not done yet. And he goes back to the outside, and he's going to be able to clear him as they come into one.
He is. Well, as I say that, Gerald's been able to take it. That's going to bring Dustin German. Thought about making it right there. Those three trucks are nose to tail, hooked up like hot glue right now as they come out of one. That's bringing that man, though, and the 18 machine, Brian Beach, along with him. Coming out of one, they'll go door to door. Will this bring Dustin German up there into play and try to see if he can't get by?
We're definitely going to find out. I was watching the 87 coming out of one. He got really loose, and he had to back her down just a little bit to control her, but he was able to get by Jerry West on down the straightaway, and the 86 gets right up to the rear bumper of the 87.
Boy, the 87 got loose when he went by him right there, had to check up, and the 86 there, Gerald West, could have ran over him. Good driving, good skills, good awareness on his part to hold up as they come out of three, and here they come. Pit stops underway. That's what we've been looking at all night long, is when they were going to make a pit stop, and I guess we know now.
And I'm really surprised. We've seen Jerry West hold back at the first of that race to try to save tire wear. I'm really surprised he pitted this early.
Yeah, lap 17, Yeah, I'm surprised too.
Maybe he was saving tires and then he used them up just a little bit, so he thought, hey, this is the perfect time to come in, get fresh tires, and maybe he's going to go really hard this next run here and see what the difference is.
Well, you know, we got Ryan Nolan still out there running. I was curious to see how long he can actually maintain now, because the further he stays out there, or the longer he stays out, excuse me, you know, those guys are definitely going to make time up on him. I wouldn't be surprised if he comes in this time. Let's see what happens. He comes out of turn 3. See if he does duck off on pit road, and I believe he's going to. Here he comes.
And we had a pass on pit road. Dustin German was able to get by Jerry West on the exit of pit road.
Nice. Teammates right there working together, trying to bring this thing home here. And, folks, what you're going to see, the reason I'm showing our pole sitter is, and hopefully it's something iRacing will actually get fixed, but you see the little guys on the wall. You won't see them run out there, though, unfortunately. That would be cool if they did, I know. But you see them on the wall. The driver can see them inside the truck and whatnot. We can't see it, but would be cool if they jumped off that wall and ran out there. So hopefully that's just something my racing man does. But it is something neat to be able to see the little guys anxiously waiting and ready, and he's got his little tire about to try to run out there.
And Joe, we just seen a costly mistake by the number 87 of Ryan Nolan. He overshot his pit box just a tad and had to back up, and that probably cost him 2, 3, 4 seconds.
Ouch. Definitely don't like seeing that on his end. You're right. You know, time's money, as we say it, and time is definitely of essence when you lose it on pit road. And he lost a ton of it there because that was a, well, it says total 28-second pit stop, so that would be total from 20 in and out, as all these other guys were in about 27, 26. You're right, he lost a good second and a half, maybe 2 seconds on that.
Yeah, I'm looking at him right now, and Brian Beach, he was in about the 5th or 6th spots before they came in, and now Ryan Nolan is right behind him, so we're gonna have to see how this thing shakes out once they get done with green flag pit stops. Yep,
absolutely, definitely, and it's a good one right now. You still got Steve Baker up front leading the charge here, and that actually is going to put Dustin German right there behind him, who, like you said, Gerald West, he's along with them too there. So those two guys, man, nose to tail, had their pit stop. So we're looking at 17 laps roughly that they did a pit stop. That means they're going to have to do, man, what, 4 pit stops here?
We definitely got a long race here tonight, Joe. There's exactly 100 laps, so they're definitely going to have to make quite a few pit stops.
Absolutely. Doing who?
Well, as I'm looking right now, Ryan Nolan, he was in the 2nd position before he went down pit road. Right now, it looks like green flag pit stops are completed. He is in the 7th spot.
Yeah, absolutely. Definitely. It's a good one so far. What's going on, Fluffy? That's old Fluffy Garrett out there. Absolutely. And
it's our Daytona winner, ain't it?
That is he's over from the Next Gen Racing, and I know you've called a race with me with them boys before. I'm trying to remember what he's won a couple races. He drives a 33 machine.
Okay, that's right.
Lucas, because I have my my website address hooked straight to the Facebook page. I decided I had a website for a while, and I probably will eventually have one built again. But you know what? Everybody contacted me through Facebook at OSR Network, and you know, I said, you know, a lot of people went to the site, and I was paying for it a month, and you know, hey, so I just sent it straight over to the Facebook, and that's why. So now everybody can get all the videos and all the info and everything, and send me a message if they want, and everything's good.
And right now we got Steve Baker as he's after green flag pit stops are complete, he's still in that 1st position. He's got a 2.66 lead over Dustin German, with Jerry West sitting in the 3rd spot, Joshua Spalding in the 4th spot, and Chris Medford in the 5th.
That's right, Fluffy. He runs over here. He won the Daytona. My bad. See,
yes,
I got nicknames
I knew
all
I
over the
wasn't crazy.
place. Yeah, I know, man. I got nicknames all over the place. I have to. And Daryl Ricketts out there says Jerry says he's saving. Baker found something nobody else has. Probably some steering ratio. Well, we don't want to give his secret away too much. Maybe he found a turbo button out there.
Well, hey, you know, they released those GRC cars, and those things got a lot of turbo.
Yeah, they do. Things sound like a bunch of wild, mean weed eaters right there. Hey, what's going on, Robert? Yeah, no doubt about it. Yeah, it definitely saves a little money, and that's why I just actually, and everybody uses the Facebook page. They can go see the Facebook Live stuff that we got here because we're live here tonight. Also, Twitch, YouTube, Facebook Live, definitely check it out. You know, so you can kind of pick your poison. We also do iRacing Live twice a week. We got Racing Freak Sim Racing League sponsored by Stock Car Racing Experience. We got Sim500 on Monday, so it's awesome. We'll be back with both of them again in February, so it'll be awesome times, man. Long seasons there, starting cranking it back up. We'll be back with these guys racing for a cause with the Crescent Candle Company Trucking Series. Once we're finished with this series here, David, I mean, you know, we still got a long way to go. We got until about February to go till we crown a champ here in the winter style, but it's turning out to be a good race. Steve Baker, he was on a suspension, so to speak. He came back, and boy, he has came back like a mean demon.
He definitely has, Joe. He's come back like he's got something to prove, and he's definitely proven it tonight. But Dustin German, Steve Baker had about a 2.3 second lead. Dustin German has cut that lead down to 1.9 seconds, so he's definitely coming.
Absolutely. Dustin German's one of those guys who, you know, just can't count out. He's always going to be there at the end, just like Gerald West is. And Ryan Nolan, he's going to be up there. Joshua Spalding's another. I mean, all these, I could just sit here and name out every one of them because any one of these guys, any given week, they all do a fantastic, phenomenal job throughout the whole entire field. As we're kind of split up here just a little bit. Like you said, Steve Baker up front. Now, that last time, Dustin German and Joshua Spalding and Ryan Nolan were the fastest on the track.
They definitely are, and that's really surprising. We've seen Steve Baker in that first run. He was really able to pull out a huge lead, but now it looks like the guys behind him are coming after him with a vengeance.
They are. You know, and the most notable thing here, too, caution free so far. Don't want to jinx it as always. As soon as we say that, boom, here we go. We have like 9 million cautions or something. But the guys are pretty spread out, and that's due to the fact that it's a green flag racing, or green flag pit stops, excuse me, and such a huge track. And they're out there talking about it. Yes, this is actually one of the tracks that is as big as Talladega and Daytona, just not an oval. It's a triangle style track. So as far as being an oval, but it is 2.5 miles in stature, and that is big time, huge and speed wise.
It definitely is. It's 2.5 miles, and they're going to do 100 laps here. So once everything's said and done, the checkered flag waves, these drivers will have run 250 miles.
Woo! A lot of miles. I'm telling you, I've done it many a times. And you know, it tires you out. I don't care, you know, at real life, those guys, you know, everybody talks about they're not athletes, they're not athletes. Oh yeah, get out there in the car, man, and run 500 miles. Let me know how you feel. And 120 degrees temperature constantly lap after lap. But even on the virtual side, Davis, I mean, the forces and what you have to do inside here, the concentration, it can become mentally and physically draining over the course of an endurance race.
Oh, it definitely can, Joe. I got the chance to run the Coca-Cola 600 on iRacing, and let me tell you what, after those 600 miles, I was wore out. I've
done a lot of endurance racing with roadside, and the shifting and braking that you do constantly over and over. Yeah, it definitely is a wear and tear on you, and the force factor that you get in the actual wheels, because technology now is so advanced that we've got, well, like we just said, Steve Baker, he's still got a 1.6 second lead over Dustin German. Gerald West right there in third. Joshua Spalding sitting in fourth. Ryan Nolan in fifth. Brian Beach sitting in sixth. And fasten your seatbelts there, Davis, because we're going high and wide. The Blimpie cam. That's right. Everybody likes Blimpie. Hey, who don't like Blimpie? And it's a good shot. Shows you the facility, shows you how far apart these guys are. But it is a high shot there, so I don't want you to get too dizzy and think you got a parachute and do any jumping on me.
You're absolutely right, Joe. That Blimpy cam, everyone loves it. And that's the one I actually use to watch the entire race when I'm broadcasting with you.
That's right. There you go. And absolutely, John. And I tell you what, we're inching closer. I did notice out there, and I want to appreciate again to the fans and the viewers, viewers, and all the leagues. And my caution's out. Whoa.
I was starting to think we'd go this whole thing under caution.
Yeah, I know. Or under green flag. Who'd you see out there? Was it Peyton Johnson?
Taking a look right now,
I see
Joe,
a couple
and
trucks that are tore up. I see John Johnson's a little tore up. I'm gonna go back on him and see what happens. It took me to Troy Radford, but I know that ain't it. He's not tore up. He did hit the wall. Huh. Well.
Debris caution.
Yeah. Well, there's a truck. Wait a minute. Douglas R. Johnson is stopped at turn 1. Maybe he had a mechanical issue, but there is a truck stopped in turn 1. We see him right there. Now he's starting to roll. He might have just had some technical difficulties on his end.
Yeah, he might have blew a transmission or something. Who knows? But they're going to take that thing behind the wall or down pit road, see if they can get it straightened out and see if he can get back in this race.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Lucas, send me a message on Facebook. I'm going to bring that out on the stream. Definitely is a good race right now, though. That's right, John. Blimpy Cam. Well, we're under caution here for the first time tonight. These guys, man, have done a fantastic job here because we're live here at Pocono Raceway. They call it the tricky triangle here because, well, it is a triangle. It's 3 turns, not 4 like we're normally used to. And like everybody said, it has a feel to a road course to it because you can shift going in the first turn, or you can opt not to. So it's definitely either way to go there. But we're in the caution first time, lap 28 here of 100. It's going to bunch this field back up. Now, we were talking about pit stops earlier, Davis. They went 17 laps. This actually almost puts them right there on that pit window again.
Yeah, they were probably about 3 to 4 laps from coming in on green flag pit stops. So this caution really couldn't come in a more perfect time for these drivers. They're going to come down here, get 4 fresh tires, get a full can of fuel, and get this thing bunched up and go green here in about 2 or 3 laps.
Yeah, no doubt. And I got to get a kick out of what the dude said out there. The guy out there on the track, he might have had to go use the restroom. Yeah, that's funny.
Oh, hey, we've all been there, you know, go 250-mile race, you know. It's like as soon as they throw that green flag, you got to go use the restroom, and you're like, really, man?
Yeah, I know. It's kind of crazy, man. That's it. So, well, what we're watching right here is pit stops underway. And, oh, well, okay, I mean, it's like the 40 machine. I believe that is. Is that the 40? Can't quite tell who it was back there. 66 maybe. He overshot his pit stop and had to pit stall and had to back up.
Definitely did, and that might end up hurting him. We've seen it hurt Ryan Nolan under that green flag pit stop, so we're going to see how they shake out here.
Yeah, no doubt about it. I didn't know my notifications for my Xbox Live stuff pops up over the screen. Del Ricketts says out there cussing. Yeah, well, Steve might be a little bit. Who knows? I mean, it's hard telling. So because Phil Otto took over the lead, Joshua Spalding right there in second. You know, whatnot. Yeah, you can't see everybody's Lucas, and you can't actually see them animated and go across. That's the one thing that I wish they would be able to. So. Did you fall out the Blimpy, Cam?
Oh no, Joe, I was sending a text message. I'm sorry.
Uh-oh.
Yeah,
Gerald said Pitts is holding him for 25 seconds. So problems on pit road.
Oh, what'd he do? Did you end up speeding?
Yeah, what you do out there? Well, he just said it. Really? It held everybody 25? Huh. Well, you know, I just noticed that too, Davis, over here on my little chart that I got. Joshua and Ryan both, maybe that was last time when I was talking about that. Joshua and Ryan both, it shows their pits at 14.6, 14.9. Everybody else is 27, 26. Remember I said something about having 28-second pit stop. I thought that just meant the whole entire time, but maybe just something with the pits and whatnot. They got the voodoo curse going on.
Yeah, you know, you might be right, Joe. Where one of those new animated pit crew guys might have lost a tire and went through the outside wall down pit road.
There you go. We already had our first casualty on pit road, and Gerald West, he's out there. He did it. Pulled out the Glock.
Yeah, he definitely did, Joe. Man, that's really, really
look,
crazy.
Look at Rick. You see how Rick Greenway out there? He gonna try to rain on our fun parade. Talking about, no, it's an iracing glitch. Man, we like the fact that, look, pit guy got run over on pit road.
Yeah, we're trying to make this as realistic as possible, Rick. Come on, go with the story.
That's right. Come on, man. Doggone. A tire went sailing off down pit road, got knocked out of his hand. That sounds better. Then, oh yeah, well we're glitching out. No. We tire fell off, went rolling down pit road. Everybody got held up.
Yeah, this is OSR Network. This is real life racing here at Pocono Raceway, and we got pit crew members flying everywhere, drivers spinning out of turn 3. And we got mayhem everywhere tonight. That's
right, no doubt about it. Well, we got a good race so far, though. As a man up front right now, Joshua Spalding, looking good. Yeah, you can see the guys on the wall, but you can't see them here. Yeah. Okay, Lucas, that's cool. I'll get it. Greenway said it's not GTA. Well, no, but it still, you know, hey, look, I've seen a couple, man, pit guys in real life go flying. You never know.
And they call iRacing the most realistic sim ever. Well, hey, here we go.
That's it, man. They definitely got to make it awesome and fantastic there. You can't script it. You can't fix this. Well, no, you can't. I guess you could if you was a leader up there and they said they accidentally, a moderator EOL'd him. I guess you could do that. Yeah. Well, John, I got to correct you. Yeah, you could script the win if the guy has a several second lead. I'm not throwing out any ideas, though, folks, so we don't want to condone anything like that.
But hey, nonetheless, Joshua Spalding and Ryan Nolan are going to take full advantage of this, as they're going to be in the 1-2, and Dustin German's going to be sitting in 3rd with Jerry West in 4th, and Steve Baker all the way in the 5th position. Yeah,
it was right. Like I was saying, it didn't hurt Gerald them up front there. They're still going to be coming out of here in 4th, and Dustin sitting there in 3rd. So Joshua and Ryan are going to be up front starting this one when they go back green flag racing here. Crew got killed. Yeah, we'll have a fun time with all that pit crew stuff. That's what it's all about. But here we go, coming out of turn 3 here. Pace car's going to duck off on pit road and let them boys up front do what they need to do. Joshua Spalding, he's got that Napa know-how machine. Definitely knows how to hammer through the gears. And there he goes, green flag in the air. As he didn't get the jump he wanted, but boy, Ryan Nolan did.
He definitely did. He got Steve Baker in the 55, 28 of Dustin German, and 9 of Joshua Spalding, all 3 deep going into 1 as they were bumper to bumper.
Yeah, and they still are bumper to bumper heading into turn 1. They're side to side. Joshua's got 86. Gerald West up high as they come out of turn number 1. That man up front right there, Ryan Nolan, loving every bit of what he's seeing in his rear view mirror. And that's a fight side by side heading into 2. Gerald West up high, Joshua Spalding down low, Dustin German behind him. And there's a Steve Baker again's up there, Troy Radford. We got a who's who of names coming up to the front now.
Wow, Joe, in turn 2, we got a wreck on the exits. They were slipping and sliding coming out of turn 2. There's 3 drivers in the grass right now. Wow, that could have been much bigger than it was.
Man, I tell you, no caution too, though. But let's go back. That's one of the 22 of John Johnson, who was trying to get that thing straight. Let's go back on the replay here and watch that again as we were up front checking out all the action. Like you said, man, they were side by side back there. The 59 machine there, and that's actually a Charles. Oh, the 5 got in the back of the 66, or yeah, I think it was 66, but he got in the back of him, he got in the wall, then they bumped each other. Yeah, you're right. That could have been. And then one car just went through the grass, mowing it, and doing some jumps. He thought he was rally racing here at Pocono.
Hey, he did. And it looks like that number 5 looks like he just overdrove the corner just a bit and just got into the rear there. But, yeah, there was probably about 5 or 6 drivers involved, and it could have been a lot worse.
Yes, it could have. I mean, you know, you see them scatter everywhere. That's the one thing about this track. You've got a lot of room here to move around. And talk about move around. Dustin German's trying to move around that 86 there. Gerald West, they come out of turn 3. They're nose to tail heading down the long straightaway here at Pocono. Definitely knock on wood. That's right, Tim. Absolutely. As we're completing this lap, it'll be to lap 34 here in the book of 100. And we got Ryan Nolan out front, Joshua Spalding sitting in second, Gerald West third, Dustin German fourth, Steve Baker rounds out the top 5.
We do, and these drivers that 3rd, 4th, and 5th position are all nose to tail right now. They're going to look down to hunt down the number 9 of Joshua Spalding, and then they're going to put their sights on the 87 of Ryan Nolan, as he's been able to increase his lead by 0.8 of a second.
Yes, he has definitely been on the go. Look at that. Dustin German looks on the insides. They coming out of turn 2. He's going to try to get that thing done door to door. He's got to worry about Steve Baker, though, as they'll go neck and neck heading into 3. Let's see if he can get that thing to stick. Now, they've had quite a bit of a time here with these tires and running these trucks to learn what they can and can't do, so to speak. We'll have to see what happens. They head down the straight. Look at that. Steve Baker and Dustin German both make that pass as we complete lap 34 and heading to lap 35 here of 100.
And this is exactly what we were talking about, is overheating those tires. The 86 of Jerry West, he overheated those tires in 2, got a little loose, had to regain control, and as a result, when he was going into 3, he got loose on the exit as well. It ended up costing him 2 positions. I do believe he's going to be trying to take it easy as he's coming down 1 and back into 2. He's going to try to take it easy, cool off those tires, and then set his sights on the 55 of Steve Baker and the 28 of Dustin German.
Yeah, they got to cool it down and definitely, man, get back in groove here as they still are single file. And you got Joshua Spalding. Now, he's running some pretty good lap times. He's running about even with what Ryan Nolan is up front there. Dustin German's a little bit off the pace, but he was back there battling a little bit. Then you got Steve Baker behind them. Gerald West is the one right there struggling a little bit on this set of tires, as he's got Troy Radford, who we saw earlier. He was muscling that machine around here. That thing was loose all over the place, and now he's actually he's pulled it back up in the 6th place spot.
Oh, and the 86 of Jerry West, it's almost like he cut a tires. He slams into the outside wall in 1.
Let's go back on the replay here and check that out. All right, let's go back on the replay here. See what it is. He comes out of the turn as he's heading down the straightaway right now. Now he's in front of Troy Radford. And no caution, and I know John out there was asking about that other wreck, why there wasn't a caution. If they got off the track far enough, this is one of the tracks where if you get off, yeah, this looks like he just drove in there, and man, maybe a tire failure or whatnot. That thing just did not stick, went straight to the wall, and just clipped it just a little bit there. Unfortunate on his end. But this is one of the tracks, along with tracks like Indy and there's a couple other, Michigan, I believe it is. If you get far enough off into the grass or off into the apron, it won't trigger a caution here on iRacing.
Yeah, it won't. That can be very frustrating at times too, because you're like, hey, why wasn't there a caution? There was 3, 4, 5 people wrecked. But like Joe said, if they get off the track quick enough where they're not in the racing groove, by the time another driver comes by, then it will actually not throw the caution.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Well, right now we're at lap 37 of 100. And to be this big of a track, and we've got a good battle right here. Dustin German, he's got Steve Baker looking on the inside, definitely going to try to take that spot away. But for this to be a 100-lap race, right now, just one caution. They've had some very, very good long green flag runs. It is 2.66 miles, 100 laps. Well, they're doing what? Roughly 50, about a minute a lap, roughly. So 100 laps, it's going to take us about an hour and a half, give or take.
Well, get your popcorn ready, get you a nice cold drink, and buckle down here because it's definitely going to be a show.
No doubt. And Troy Rafford's closing in on Dustin German right there a little bit. He's trying to move that truck up there to his 94 machine, and he also got Steve Baker who made that pass. And yeah, rally racing was kind of cool. I know Davis was doing something earlier. He was up there, jumping around, and he said it was kind of cool.
Yeah, it was, Joe. I ended up winning my heat, getting second in the feature. I might have T-boned a driver or two, might have accidentally flipped them, all on accident, of course. The cars are definitely a lot of fun. Things are completely different animals. You're going over jumps, you're sliding through turns, you're going through the asphalt. If you get the chance, definitely check them out.
Yeah,
after
no doubt.
This race, of course.
Yeah, after the race. Well, yeah, you're right, 2.5 miles, my bad. Track here, so actually kind of big track as we're seeing. Just going through this field a little bit right here. And looking at Timothy Hale, he's actually right there in that 00 machine, sitting in 9th place spot. Chris Medford sitting in the 8th place spot, looking good. Charles Widener right there, he's in 10th. Brian Beach, who was up front earlier on, has fallen back all the way back to the 11th place spot. So I don't know what happened to him on that end.
Yeah, it looks like he's got some right side damage and some left side damage as well. I don't know, maybe if he was involved in that early accident when they threw the green flag, or maybe if he got in some trouble later on.
And I'm not sure. I believe they do have a fast fix here. But
well,
then again, go ahead.
I'm sorry, I'm looking right now at the info, and it says fast repair limit 0.
Okay, well, and that's what I was saying next. I believe I've been told before what they've had, so you're right. I don't think they have them. They took them off. At one time, they used to. So, guys like Gerald out there who's bumped the wall a little bit, he's going to have to assess that damage, hope that it does not, hinder him too much. I mean, this is a big track. You carry a lot of speed here. The aerodynamics does play a factor at a track like this.
Yeah, it definitely does, Joe, and hopefully it's very minimal, and he can get out there, get the damage repaired, and he can still be competitive. But we still got 60 laps to go. If these drivers keep bumping and banging like they are, I think everyone's going to come out of here with a little bit of damage.
Absolutely. Well, let's do what they say they want to hear out there. Let's get them here the OSR Network rundown order. That man up front, we'll start with him. Ryan Nolan, put it on pole. He's out front right now there with a Humane Society machine, looking good, the 87. Right behind him, Joshua Spalding. He started 16th, currently in 2nd with that Napa Know-How machine right there. 3rd place man, Steve Baker. He's Federated Auto Parts. He's got enough parts under that thing to get it to the front here, and he's done it once. He's trying to do it again, sitting in 3rd. 4th place man, Dustin German. As always, get the Haviland machine running high out there, sitting in 4th. 5th place, Troy Rafford. He's got the 94 gas something machine. Well, he's definitely putting the pedal to the metal here. And currently running in 5th place, Andy Lambert. Right behind him, in 6th place, Gerald West. We just saw him bump the wall a little bit, and he's going to try to keep that thing straight. He's sitting in 7th. Timothy Hale, the 00 machine right there. In 8th place, Charles Widener. 9th place man at the Mountaineers machine. That's one of those college teams out there. He's running in 9th place right now. Brian Beach. Oh, hang on to it because he actually just, there he came back. He got the Seahawks machine and blinking a little bit because he's currently running in 10th place right now. 11th place, Peyton Johnson. There he goes. He's got a North Carolina machine out there running, looks like, but he's running in the 11th place spot. Phil Otto, he is the Australian. Right now in the 66 machine, looking good. James Edwards sitting in 13th. And we got Chris Medford. He's sitting in 14th place right now. John Johnson, 1 lap down. The first man a couple laps down, sitting in 15th spot. 16th place. That's actually Douglas Wasaki. That's what we're going to go with. And you got Dick Greenway right there in 17th. Got two trucks out. Douglas R. Johnson and Rick Greenway out, and my dog behind me agrees with all this rundown order, and they definitely enjoy it right now as we go back up from that man, Ryan Nolan.
Yeah, most definitely, Joe. And Ryan Nolan, he's still out there with a 0.3 of a second lead. Joshua Spalding's been able to close the gap quite a bit. And Steve Baker with 1.425 seconds. So I think we're going to have a battle for the lead here in about the next 2 or 3 laps.
Yeah, no doubt about it. That man, Ryan Nolan, he is definitely he's going to have his hands full here soon with that with Joshua Spalding.
Yeah, he is, Joe. And we're watching right now as looks like they're running almost the same exact lines as well. Looks like Ryan Nolan's just taking a bit of a lower line going into 3. So we're going to see how that plays out.
Yeah, I was just going to see if he could actually pull up there on the back deck lid of him and get that spot there. He's been able to climb up there and be able to run him down. It's going to be a matter of time to see if he actually can make that pass. I think it just is as he's looking on the inside right now. This is a battle for the lead up front, as that's Joshua Spalding looking on the inside.
He is look like the 9 of Joshua Spalding could have took that inside on Ryan Nolan, but he chose to back out of it, and you see how much ground that cost him going down the straightaway.
Yeah, he is. He thought better of it, went right behind him, stayed right there. Oh, boy, they got him close to the lap car right there, the 31, almost clipping him. I don't know if you saw that, Davis.
I definitely did, and I thought that was going to hurt Joshua Spalding more than it was the number 87, but it looks like it actually helped him.
Yeah, it did, because he's now back on the back deck lid, looking on the inside, coming out of turn 3, almost up against the wall for these two guys, as they are just shooting down the front stretch, man, battling it out here. Ryan Nolan's got his hands full with that 9 machine of Joshua Spalding all over his back deck lid.
He definitely is, Joe, and they've got about a 1 car length lead. As I say that, he pulls it up to about half a car length as they're coming out of 1. Is he going to be able to track them down as they're coming down the back straightaway?
Yeah, wasn't able to get the pass done at that moment. You got Steve Baker, though. He's climbing up there, too. Was able to make that pass on Dustin German, bringing it up in 3rd place. He's going to get up in this battle here. If these guys get up here and start battling side by side, he might be able to push it up there and close that gap in with these gentlemen here. Must be very interesting to see. And Appalachian State, I don't know, man. I don't know all the. Hey, look, Davis is the college guy.
Yeah, I actually remember that game, John. That was a really good game back in the day.
I know the biggest games basketball-wise is Duke and UNC.
Yeah, hey, Texas A&M's got a pretty good basketball team this year. We're ranked number 9. We've beaten some top-tier teams. We're going to be coming after Duke.
There you go. Absolutely. I don't watch much basketball, but I know about those teams. I watch racing, and that's what we're watching right now. A very good battle up front as Ryan Nolan, and we're at lap 46 here at 100, about to get close to halfway point here at Pocono Raceway. As Ryan Nolan out front, you got Joshua Spalding. He was able to run him down, just wasn't able to make that pass. And I think what we're seeing here is those tires. And as I say that, he dives it on the inside. Maybe he's going to see if he can get that thing to stick coming out of 3.
He almost does, but he thinks better of it as he lets out, coming on the exit of 3. And he's going to have to reset him up here, coming down the back, after they come down the front straightaway. He's going to try to get in the run, get a good exit down the back straightaway, and see if he can take the pass again.
Yeah, he's going to try to set him up going into turn 1 and see if he can't dive on the inside. Well, they have been able to walk away from Steve Baker, who was actually very close. And I don't know where he's at now, but he's like way off the pace. 7 seconds. Did he go into the pits?
And Joe, we've got green flag pit stops going on.
Ah, okay. Well, that's the reason, because he was closing in, and then all of a sudden was way back. But these two guys up front have yet to make their pit stops. It'll be interesting. Oh, Joshua Spalding caught that apron right there, upset that truck ever so slightly. Well, he saw it there firsthand, and it got him off the track because he was actually trying to come in there. Now he's using that more conventional line in 3 that I'm used to seeing, that middle line right there.
Just Steve Baker and Dustin German, they're exiting the pits right now, and that looked like an awfully long pit stop.
It was 26 seconds again. Some guys are getting 16, some are getting 15, some are getting 27. Let's watch old Ryan Nolan come on down pit road here. So I don't know what's holding these guys up, but definitely disastrous. Disastrous for actual, green flag pit stops. Wouldn't be too bad under a caution flag pit stop.
Yeah, but that's definitely going to hurt them too. Don't know really what's going on with the iRacing server. It's week 13. They're always doing something different.
Uh-oh. And it's holding Ryan Nolan too. Look at that. He got his pit stop done. But Ryan Nolan, 27 seconds. Wow.
Man, we're getting pit crew guys hit left and right out here.
That's right. These pit crew guys, they're either getting hit or they're being awful slow and lazy on the first day of the work here for iRacing.
They definitely are. Joe, I got to give a little shout out. After I talked about Texas A&M basketball, I had a buddy by the name of Matt Hoover sent me a little text. We're not going to speak over the broadcast. So I just wanted to give him a little shout out right there.
All right, good deal. Likes Texas A&M, huh?
No, he doesn't like them.
Oh, he doesn't like. Oh, okay. All right. Well, let's watch Joshua Spalding. That was our leader. Let's see what his pit stop looks like. Now, the one thing I did notice on the animations, Davis, did you notice that the car or the truck doesn't come up as far as it used to? It's almost like it's on one side, like it's been jacked up. Now he got 27 second pit stop. Wow. So we're back to the old days of pit roading it now. Very peculiar.
Well, is it doing it to everyone, Joe, or is it just doing it to certain people?
Certain people, because Troy Radford, his last pit stop there was a 15.9. Chris was 16, but like Steve was showing 26, 27 on Ryan, 26 on Dustin, 27 on Joshua. Most every one of them in the 20-something second mark, and I like old Chemo out there. He goes, rookie iRacing pit crews. There we go. We'll blame it on that too.
Yeah, let's have Kyle Bush's pit crew out there.
That's it. There you go. We need to give him that, man. That needs to be his pit crew. Well, what this is going to do, the problem with that is under green flag pit stops, man, that's disastrous. Because the two that really benefited from this was Troy Radford and Chris Medford. As they have now got, 5-second lead over Steve Baker, 6-second lead over Ryan Nolan and Dustin German, 7-second lead. So it's been able to pull them up there, and they're all the cheaters. Hey, pit crews, you gotta love it.
Yeah, I've definitely never seen anything like that, but like I said, it's just that week 13, they came out with a new build, still trying to fix all the glitches and whatnot out of it.
And they normally do updates throughout week 13. I've always known them, or they'll come out with like a week 13 big update, then they come out with like a pre-update or something like that, either next week or a couple days later.
Yeah, patch.
Yeah, patch, that's right. Yeah, they always come out with a patch because they always see something happen and whatnot. And I'm hoping that the one patch they do that they see from all of us broadcasters out here, not just myself, but the many other ones out there, and I hope they hear us and go, please at least let one of the pit stalls show. I mean, we don't need to see them all, but at least let one, because hey, I could do a little bit of trickery with some camera angling. That would be awesome.
It definitely would, and also what iRacing got to see too is also a marketing tool too. Someone new comes along, sees there's pit stop animations on a broadcast, that might get them to buy into the service.
Yeah, no doubt. Well, we try to do that here with the awesome racing. It's Troy Radford up front right now. Chris Medford sitting in second. Old Steve Baker right there in third. He's got his hands full with old Ryan Nolan, who is all over the back end. And like I say, folks, we're here live here at Pocono Raceway for Racing for a Cause Cresson Candle Company Trucking Series. And it's been a good one so far. One caution out here tonight as we're at lap 49. Well, actually, a little over halfway. Got 49 to go. My bad. Of 100 here. Want to appreciate everybody coming out. And like I say, normally you would hear me and Davis on Thursday nights. He came up here, man, in the booth with me tonight. Appreciate that. Normally we hear him, man. He comes up with me on Thursday nights with ExtremeMotorsports99.com. But this Thursday we're off. This actually Wednesday and Thursday with ExtremeMotorsports99.com. We're off this week. We'll be back next week heading to Richmond. But if y'all love hearing me talk, then check me out over on Off Camber TV tomorrow night. Look up Team VLR. I'll try to type that out in the chat for you on Facebook, and it will be broadcasted on Facebook Live over there. A dirt series was a UMP modifieds at the Knoxville track that they just brought out, and iracing as another thing they brought out this week too, Davis. So that track will be there tomorrow night. I'll be helping commentate the guys over there at Off Camber TV. So want to welcome them and Team VLR for getting a hold of me. Heard one of the broadcasts, and they was needed somebody to step in for a night. And I said, sure, I'm off. Why not?
Hey, well, I know I'll be tuning in to see that. You can't go wrong with listening to Joe White on Wednesday night along with some dirt racing. If y'all haven't got a chance to hear Joe call some dirt racing action, then head over there on Wednesday, because, man, I got a chance to hear him a couple weeks ago. Man does a phenomenal job. I need to put him in a real life job out there with the Lucas Oil Dirt Series, because the man can do it.
Gotta get the right people, man, first.
Oh, yeah.
Man, just have fun. It's like everybody says. Right now, Troy Radford, he's got a 1.2 second lead over that man in second spot, Chris Metford, who actually has got a 3.9 over third place man Steve Baker, who's got Ryan Nolan right there behind him, and Dustin German's climbing up there in the mix. So those three trucks are about to do battle here as they get closer in here at Pocono.
And yeah, Joe, we've had that green flag pit stop, and I'm still surprised these drivers are able to still be so close together and this close within each other, even after being spread out that far.
You know, here's the question with the, whoa, look at that, Steve Baker in the wall, and old Ryan Nolan, he had to do a base of maneuvers right there to get around him. So did Dustin German. But with the pit stops doing the way they're doing, and it's kind of a Russian roulette, so to speak, out there, when do you make your last pit stop? When do you make it early? I mean, you got to calculate for that time. If not, it could be just disastrous.
Yeah, it definitely could, Joe. And honestly, I don't know. I really couldn't tell you how to do that personally. Maybe think about taking 2 tires, and maybe that'll shorten the pit stop. Maybe it's just a glitch with 4 tires. Really don't know.
Yeah, I mean, who knows? Something that they'll have to look at, something that'll be definitely set upon, or somebody might actually bring that up to iRacing's attention. Like we say, they always do patches. You know, those guys are on it here at iracing.com. And it is week 13. They got a whole new build going on here. A lot of great things happening. A lot of things they added in. Obviously, the Knoxville dirt track, the animated pit crews, the whole new tire model that they've got going here. So a lot of stuff. The rally cross was a big one. So just a phenomenal build that they had here to cap off a awesome. And oh yeah, by the way, you know, Christmas season here. So everybody want to wish everybody an early Christmas, as it's one of my favorite times of year.
Yeah, it definitely is, Joe. Hey, you gotta love Christmas. There's a lot of food involved, and get to spend time with some of your family, and it's also an awesome time of the year.
That's right. We get presents from the Ho-Ho Man.
Hey, you gotta love the Ho-Ho Man. That's
right. No doubt about it. I hope everybody out there, man, loving the race so far. Troy Radford still got a 2.7 second lead over Ryan Nolan, who was definitely I will say it was a touch faster, but he's not actually. Yeah, he's a little faster than actually Troy is out there. But he's got a little bit to go, and it's got a way in the back. They're definitely going to have to make some more pit stops, and it's going to be interesting to see what Ryan and Troy and them does up front.
Yeah, it definitely is. As Troy's got about a 2-second lead. Dustin German's coming in with a 3-second gap between him and Ryan. And then Steve Baker, we saw him hit that wall earlier. Don't know how bad that's going to affect him, but another guy we've seen hit the wall earlier in the race was Jerry West. and he's back in the 12th position, 55 seconds behind the leader.
Yeah, definitely just falling off the pace, almost to the point of where he's a lap down here as these guys will be coming around. Yeah, no doubt, William. Appreciate it out there. It's been a very good race so far. Just one of these right now, tire management and long green flag styled races here. That's just one of those things. You know, you go from certain tracks breed caution, certain tracks, man, breed great long green flag racing. And this is one of them. Pocono has a way of doing that.
Yeah, it's definitely an interesting track for sure. It's one of the neatest tracks and most unique ovals we go to on the circuit.
All right, well, still got Troy Rappert. And old Ryan Nolan's trying to run him down. He's about 1.7 seconds behind him. He's clicking off about 6-7 tenths a lap. So it's a matter of time before he gets there. Just all a matter of I'm wanting to see when these guys make that pit stop. Because if Troy gets, if he wins the pit stop lottery, that's what we're going to call it tonight, the pit stop lottery, and gets another 15 or 14 second pit stop, and everybody else gets another 26, 27. And that's over 10 seconds, and wow, that could be the difference between winning and losing this race.
Yeah, and I'm wondering maybe if they'll throw a caution before they make that last pit stop, or if the admins have any plan to maybe try to settle down the issue to try to make it as fair as possible, or if we're just gonna let it run out here and see what happens.
You know, and that's a good point. Normally, I usually don't say anything about admins wanting to throw a caution, but I know, you know, Rick out there is one of the admins, and you're watching the broadcast. Good point you bring up there, since it is, we understand on the iracing side and whatnot. You know, I know we're up here talking about, you know, hey, look, pit crews here and there. Now, obviously, you know, there could be a caution, man, either way. We just don't know yet. But it might be something they want to think about, because I got a feeling these guys are going to have to pit probably with. Well, here's my thing, Davis. Can they make it on one more pit stop if they're only going 17 laps?
I think you're definitely going to have to make 2 more pit stops.
That's what I'm thinking here, too. So, you make another one? I mean, and look who just popped in the chat. That's your good buddy.
Oh, look who he is. Oh, Matt Hoover coming here.
That's right, Matt Hoover. Good old Matt Hoover out there. Definitely popping in. You see old Matt running, man, all the time. He definitely does a good job. Man, he loves running trucks, loves K&N cars, and see him running the Xfinity cars and Cup cars all throughout iRacing. The old Matt out there in his Birdie construction machine. Well, we got a good one so far here. As Troy Rappert is hanging on to the point we're just talking about, the pit stop issue. You know, who's to say that it won't hit Troy the next time by, and Ryan and him gets the lucky break on it. We'll just have to see. But you were talking about, you know, the admins could control that by saying, okay, guys, lap 25, we're going to throw a competition caution if one doesn't come out. Might help them out on that very last pit stop, or which actually they still wouldn't be able to make it the whole entire way, would they?
Yeah, no, Joe, I don't think they will either. And I seen Rick, he keyed up there, but I wasn't able to see exactly what he said. So I'm kind of curious to see what they're going to do here.
Yeah, I mean, to make it fair across the board definitely would be a good thing. Obviously, they would have to make it to where they can go 17 laps. That's the longest we've seen most of these guys. Maybe 18, 19 laps. But most of these guys have had to come into pits after that. So maybe something with 20 or 18 to go that they throw a caution just to make sure everything is fair across the board. Again, not throwing out the idea there, but we do know that just a small issue. Some slow pit crewmen out there for the new animated pit crews. And they're when I say slow, they're trying to get in their groove. They're not used to carrying big tires or seeing a bunch of 27, 26 second pit stops out there, and we're used to seeing 13 or 14.
Yeah, you're definitely right, Joe, and it's definitely made this race interesting right now. But I think about that battle for the lead is Ryan Nolan has about a half a second lead on Dustin German.
Absolutely,
so, might see a battle.
What's that?
I say we might see a battle here for the lead. Might see a battle for second as well, as Joshua Spalding is 1.2 seconds, and Joshua Spalding is actually running the fastest times of the race.
And here we go. We got Ryan Nolan and actually Dustin German both coming down on pit road to make their stop. Now, this is going to put 38 to go. We definitely know they're going to have to make another pit stop here, and it's probably going to be around 15, 16 to go when they make it. My question is, can they make it on tires with 38? Will you just come in and throw fuel in? Ryan Nolan, well, he overshot the pit there a little bit. That's going to hurt him big time. So let's see if it holds up, Dustin. You know, what I'm noticing too, though, watch the animation. Even though you're not seeing the crew go around, watch how much that truck comes up. Does not come up like it used to. And yep, Dustin German's getting held. 20 seconds, 21, 22, 23. Wow, so is Ryan Nolan. 26.9 seconds. It's adding an extra 10 seconds to these guys for some reason. 28 seconds for Ryan. So, wow, it's, yeah, that's going to be a disaster if one of these other guys get out there, pit, and actually, but now we talked about Troy Radford. Guess what? He had a 15-second last time. Now he had a 27-second this time.
So it's definitely a luck of the draw and some kind of glitch. But you talked about Ryan Nolan overshot in the pit box. That was the second time I've seen him overshot that pit box.
And believe it, they probably, you know, they got to get the braking down. It'd be the fact of it is just that thing's just sliding more than what he's used to it sliding. The man who won the lottery on that last time was Steve Baker. He had a 15-second pit stop. So that tells you, folks, right there, that's 10 seconds, 11 seconds different between some of the other guys. Under Timothy Hale's out there showing his. Let's see what his is here. I see the numbers running right now on it, on my chart. John, no, they're not like F1s. Absolutely not. Yeah, Timothy Hale, he's over 20 seconds now. Yeah, I noticed they changed the animation. I don't know if you noticed that too, Davis, when you watch them. They don't go up in the air as high as they used to. It's kind of like they go just a little bit, and then they come back down. So, you know, it looks like they're setting up for, you know, what we want to see, you know, full-on animations of the pits and whatnot.
Yeah, they definitely are. I think they just gave us something right now with the animations to shut us up. And eventually they will do the full-on pit stops where you see 43 pit crews out there and you see them on the broadcast as well.
Yeah, so right now, though, that puts Joshua Spalding up front in the lead of this one, along with Chris Medford right there. Brian Beach is on pit road himself. And I'm going to tell you what, it won't take long. Chris Medford, he's 36 seconds. Well, it's actually showing him 36 seconds. He just went around Steve Baker like it was sitting still. Steve's sitting right there in the third place spot. He's got about 9 seconds between him and Troy Radford, who is sitting in the fourth place spot.
Yeah, you're absolutely right, Joe. And Joshua Spalding is on pit road right now, and he's being held as well. And I was watching him. He got that thing to 60 miles an hour at the last millisecond to get onto pit road.
Wow. Well, hey, guys have got to have skills out here getting it done right there. No, they're not getting caught, Daryl. Not all getting caught on pit road, but I mean, it is just kind of a I mean, if every one of these guys are getting caught speeding on pit road, that would just be a oh, I'd hate to be the owner or the driver of the owner for the team, because that's just some bad driving.
Yeah, and I think the pit road penalty is usually a 15-second hold, maybe even a 25-second hold. And it seems to me like these drivers are being held for 10 seconds, which I've never seen a penalty for being 10 seconds. I don't know what's actually going on.
Well, we just got confirmation from out there. Rick Greenway. He's obviously just a random, thing happening in iRacing with the pit stops. And again, we're still gonna throw it off on just lazy first-time rookie pit crews out there. Just don't, they just trying to make slow pit stops. But he's going to throw a competition caution at lap 83, which is going to put us with 17 to go, which is going to actually, that way we know everybody can make it. Now, what that will do is bunch this field up, and it's going to be awesome at that point.
And hats off to Rick for doing that as well. I think that's an awesome call as well, and it'll try to make it as fair as it can be. And Joe, we've got a really good battle between the 9 of Joshua Spalding and the 87 of Ryan Nolan, or at least we did. They were bumper to bumper coming down the straightaway, but then looks like the number 9 got behind the number 66 of some lap traffic and cost him some time.
Yeah, and John noticed that too. So look at those skies here at Pocono. Looks like about a storm's coming in. We got a storm up front though, brewing for the lead here too, Davis. As look at Steve Baker, he's on the inside coming out of turn 3. He's trying to battle that thing and take that spot away from the 44, Chris Medford right there, but he can't get it done. Falls back in the line, head down the long pond straightaway here at Pocono, heading into turn 1. They'll still go 2 by 2, actually nose to tail. And there he just drove it down on the inside, trying to come out of turn 1, see if he can't get it to stick.
He's not able to make it stick. It's the number 44 of Chris Medford is able to open up the gap going down the straightaway as the 55 is going to try to set him up coming into 2.
Yeah, it looks like old Steve Baker right there, man, had to let off of it a little bit. He's going to let those tires cool down. Let's go back behind where you said Dustin German, Troy Radford, Ryan Nolan, all 3 of them trucks nose to tail, parading it around here in turn 2, coming out of that tunnel turn there. Well, Gerald West went high and wide up to the wall, almost tapped it, but the 94, Troy Radford, he's in there in the middle between them as they come out of 3 to complete this lap. We've got 33 to go. And again, folks, there's confirmation. So about 17 to go. There's going to be a competition caution flew because of just a little pit road incident and issue that's been happening here throughout, just to make it fair. And again, I do want to, like you said, Davis, give credit where credit's due there on Rick's part here at Racing for a Cause. Not a lot of leagues would do that. They would be like, well, that's manipulation. Well, not when it's something out of the control of the drivers, and this is totally out of control of the drivers, and you want to make your competition as fair as possible. So again, hey, I agree with you there. Hats off to Rick on doing it.
Yeah, and like you said, hats off to Rick. I really like that decision that's going to be made here, and it's going to bunch this field up, and we're going to see one heck of a finish. But now that these drivers know, and look at the number 9 and the 87 of Ryan Nolan, they're side by side coming out of 3. They almost touch as they drag race down the straightaway.
Yes, they do. They'll drag racing. It looks like Ryan gets that spot. Well, they came out of turn 3 right there, trading paint almost, very inches upon inches between each other. He was out there trying to skin one of them cats there, along with the Napa know-how machine. Well, looks like Ryan's going to get that point coming out of turn number 1 right now. As they steal, he'll be right there in his tire tracks. And you've got Troy Radford up there in front of him. You've got Dustin German. And, well, now Gerald West is a lap down, but he's still got a fast truck right there in between them.
Yeah, he definitely does, Joe. And what I'm thinking is Gerald West did, I'm thinking he went under that green flag pit stop, got all his damage fixed, took the hit in time, and he ended up losing a lap. But I think once we get to that competition caution, get the wave around, he'll be back on cycle. And then number 9, and he spins the 87.
Oh, they made contact into turn 3. And that got him all bent out of shape right there. But boy, it was contact between the two. They were racing very heavily with each other. Looks like the 9 of Joshua Spalding just pushed up ever so slightly. Caught the rear tail right there, rear quarter panel of Ryan Nolan. And Ryan tried to do everything he could to hold it. He did a good, fantastic job, but eventually slid up there and bumped the outside wall.
Yeah, Joe, someone's not going to be a happy camper about that one.
Hey, well, racing hard, that's just one of those things sometimes.
Hey, it makes it interesting for us, and I was just about to mention that too as well, Joe. With these drivers knowing they have a competition caution here in about 12 laps, I can guarantee you they are using every single bit of tire wear they can, knowing that they're going to get 4 fresh good ones and get bunched up together.
Absolutely. You know, even if you did fall back a little bit, wouldn't be too bad. Wouldn't be too bad, because you got 30 to go. That competition caution is not going to come out until about another 12 laps or so. You see old Gerald West working over the back end there of Dustin German. Dustin German's, he's the leader right now, but Gerald West, he's a lap down. Yeah, he's the first car lap down. He understands now what he would love to happen, and hey, they're teammates, and teams are teams. They do what they want, but here's what would be the awesome thing. If Dustin's out there leading and he knows Gerald's a lap down, instead of him getting the lucky dog, and just let him go on around him and get on the lead lap, then he ain't got to worry about getting the lucky dog.
Yeah, that's true, Joe. But as a teammate that's watching right now, Matt Hoover, can attest. You know, you might be teammates, but sometimes your teammates are your biggest competition.
They are. I mean, either way, Dustin's not going to be able to keep him a lap down because, you know, Gerald stays in that spot. When the competition caution comes out, he's going to get the lucky dog. You know, Gerald's not going to push the issue up here. I mean, he's a constant professional, and these guys, man, definitely, you know, they run together, you know, all the time with each other. It's just good to see old thoughts on. You want to see what Matt says out there. He's probably going to be like, I ain't no teammate with no Davis. Who's that guy?
Oh, me and Matt, we'll go back and forth back to it every single second of a race. But hey, we have a lot of fun out there.
Well, that's what it's about. You definitely got to have fun. Looks like Gerald West is going to be content to ride behind that 28 machine right there until this caution comes out. Saving his tires, saving his equipment, not tearing this thing up too bad. He sees Joshua Spalding coming up there. I mean, he's got a huge lead over Phil Otto. Phil Otto's probably about a straightaway back. So if he maintains there, he's going to get that lucky dog if he stays in that spot right there.
Yeah, he definitely will, but he's still going to want to try to get past him. That way he can be on the same, he can actually pit with the leaders, but he's losing some ground to the 83, or I'm sorry, the 28 of Dustin German, and maybe he used up too much of his tires trying to get up to him, and that's ended up costing him here on this long run.
Absolutely. Now, I just noticed something. Ryan Nolan went back into the pits again. Maybe they can't make it to that competition. We've got 10 laps away here, roughly, until we get there. Last time they pitted was what? Lap 42, I believe it was, or 42 to go.
Yeah, I want to say about that range right there, or maybe even he's trying to pit right now. Maybe they can make it on 25 laps. I mean, from what we've seen, I'd have to say no, but I'd be really interested to see what he's thinking right now. But then again, we've seen him get some damage in that outside wall. He could be getting that damage fixed right now. That way, when he comes in under caution, he doesn't lose all those positions.
Yeah, no doubt about it. And you're right. From what we've seen throughout here through the race, nobody's been able to take it over 20 laps on a pit stop. So if he can, he knows something we don't know. Now, we don't know if the tires can make it that long, but I'm going to say fuel. But then again, maybe Rick can chime in out there. Rick Greenway can chime in out there on the chat for us and let us know if it's the fuel that's giving these guys a problem, or if it's actually the tires that are giving them a problem.
Well, Joe, and another thing he could be doing as well, Joe, is taking 4 right now, and then once that competition caution hits, he's going to go into pit road and he's going to take 2.
Let me throw this out to you. Why would you do that with everybody behind you taking 4?
Because he's got damage, and that's his only shot to win. He's got quite a bit of damage on that right side of the truck. You got to try something to pull out the win here. That could be the case.
Yeah, track position. You know, we haven't really talked about that. Track position can be very important. I mean, even though it's going to bunch the field up here amongst everybody, track position still will be huge. with these guys, man, up front, whatnot. As we do see a couple people, man, coming in and out of the pits there. So definitely taking a pit stop as of now, and it's still showing 27, 24. It says fuel load is full. So it's all tires. Wow. Who is the guys doing the announcing? I never met him before in my life. I'm Joe White up here on the mic, and I got Davis Richards. Davis, tell him hey.
Hey William, what's going on? Yeah, we're just some old boys out here just doing some announcing for racing for a cause.
Absolutely, and we're doing it here live tonight here at YouTube, Facebook Live, Twitch, man. As always, want to welcome everybody out as we're doing a live here tonight, Pocono Raceway, tricky triangle here, and like David said, racing for a cause, Cresson Candle Company Trucking Series. These guys are definitely trucking it around here. And who is also in this chat that's also driving? Well, the one that's Yabba Scooby, that's actually Jay Weezy. He talks every once in a while on the whatchamacallit. Yeah, the track's rubbering up really well. You can see it in the turns there, Daryl, and whatnot. But so that's interesting there, Davis. If they have a full fuel load, we know fuel's not the issue. Tires. So then I ask, we take it back to what you were saying. Get 4 tires now, then go get 2 tires. I mean, if the tires are falling off at 17, 18 laps respectively, if you take 2, how much fall off are you going to have on the other ones? Because you're going to have almost, what, about 25, 28 laps on those set.
Joe, I just can't believe if tires are the issue that they're pitting with 17 laps. That's insane and unheard of to me to even like think about that right there. I just can't. I really can't. I guess the build is taking that much a difference. I'll get my words out sooner or later. Is that much of a difference between everything, and it is causing these drivers to fall that much off of the pace.
And you're right. I mean, it definitely is something that we'll keep an eye on throughout the race, because it's. Normally we don't see that much fall off. I mean, here at Pocono, usually I see about 30 laps or so they can go, usually before they want to come in for tires. As the normal time, 17, 18 laps on a full fuel load. If the tire model is definitely, there's Dustin German. Now, Dustin German's coming in with 22 to go. He's in 22 to go. Another 2 laps or so, they're going to throw the competition caution. He has 27-second pit stop. And that's funny to say 27 seconds on a pit stop at NASCAR anyways. Charles said fuel is also an issue, but now, Charles, okay, all right, you're going to have to explain to me. Maybe Davis understands better than I do. Fuel, if you say fuel's an issue, but it's a full fuel load, I mean, did they make these trucks, man, drink more gas?
Well, the fuel limit for these cars right now is 50%. They have a 50% fuel load.
Okay. I mean, that still would go more than 17 laps, wouldn't you think?
Yeah. I mean, I really couldn't tell. I really haven't ran this build long enough to tell you. They might have done some fuel mileage changes as well. It'll be interesting. I mean, we might get one of the drivers in here for an interview under that competition caution, because they're going to throw that here in about 3-4 laps.
Yeah, no doubt. Well, we got Charles Widener out there, who was unfortunately out of the race. He's out there in the chat, and he said fuel is also an issue, and obviously Rick has said they're running full fuel load. So I just kind of curious, and, you know, me and Davis up here just trying to figure out what the fuel is and all that. Just trying to get into, you know, the psyche of some of these drivers. What are they going to do here? I mean, with this competition caution coming up, and I'm going to tell you, Steve Baker, he won the lottery that last time there. And second, he had a 14-second pit stop. Joshua has yet to come in yet. So that puts him right now, Chris Metford, just to give you an idea here, Davis, Steve Baker will take the lead over here soon. But Chris Metford, just between those two pit stops, had a 30-second pit stop. He is 37 seconds back from the leader. 22 is what Steve is. So that's almost, he's like 15 seconds or more behind Steve Baker right now.
Yeah, he is. And this is just a crazy situation we've seen here tonight. And, I mean, hey, it's made it very interesting for us up here at the booth. Well,
now that's something interesting old Charles just said. Everyone is not getting a full fuel. Now, that's got to take me back here for a minute. I got a chuckle out there because in 27 seconds, what are they doing? Eating ice cream on pit road?
They're like Ricky Bobby out there going to the concession stands.
Hey, it must have some good hot dogs that they're cooking up down there, because if they're not putting a full, they could almost pull 3 tanks of cans of fuel in them things at that time frame. They're not getting a full two cans in these trucks at 27 seconds, then yeah, it's definitely an issue coming from somewhere. And maybe, there you go, Davis, we found our answer why they can't go 17. It is full fuel, but with the issue that's happening on pit road, they're not getting full fuel.
Well, when you say full fuel, do you mean 100% of the full, like 18.7 gallons?
Not sure. We'll have to ask. Well, even at 50%, Richard, you know it. I know 50% would take you further than 17 laps, or should.
Yeah, you're right. It should, because right now I'm looking at the info and it says 50%. And just so we let the viewers know at home, they just threw the competition yellow, so this is going to bunch the fuel back up, and we're going to have to watch these pit stops.
Yeah, no doubt. Watch the pit stops, see what they are, and why we're under pit stops here. Yeah, that's right, Charles. We know it's holding everybody to 25-second pit stops, not giving them fuel from what we can see. Pit crews are definitely, yeah, 4 tires, full tank, and a tequila shot. There you go. Absolutely. All right. Well, Davis said, I like his idea. Don't give Davis no ideas. Well, we've got Rick Greenway up here in the booth with us. Rick, how you doing?
What's going on, guys? How are you?
Well, pretty good, man. We're under this competition cost. I want to give a hats off for you doing that. A lot of leagues be like, oh, we don't want to do that, messing with this and that. But obviously, this is out of the driver's control here. Me and Davis was up here just talking and was going to get an idea of what some of the drivers are seeing or feeling, or maybe something you are hearing. On the pit stops, I know you said full fuel load, but it reads 50%. But even at 50%, these guys should be able to go more than 17 laps on fuel. Charles out there in the chat seems like that a lot of these drivers aren't getting all the way filled up. What are you hearing?
Well, it sounds like that we do run a 50% fuel load, so it's a 18.6 gallon tank, so they should be getting 9.3 gallons. And what it sounded like is as guys are getting fueled up, as they're leaving the pits, it's saying they're getting 5.7, and then as they're on the track, it's now jumping up to like 9.0, 9.3, 9.1. So I honestly don't know if we're dealing with an iracing glitch where the pit stops have kind of been changed around now with the new animation or whatnot. So I can honestly say that I've put together a list that I'm going to be sending to iRacing just for them to look at with the issues we had tonight, so that they can check on it. And mostly it's all pit stop stuff.
Yeah, I noticed they changed a little bit in the animation, how the trucks and all cars raise up and whatnot. And me and Davis was up here talking. Normally they do a patch. Hats off to iRacing for what they do. Obviously it's week 13, big update that they had. They'll do a patch. They usually do in the next couple of days or the next following week or whatnot. We'd like to see one update that they would do is we see the little guys on the wall, but I can't see them run out there. If they would at least just give me the one pit stall to show it, that would be awesome. Maybe something that they're looking at doing. I guess if enough broadcasters out there, yell loud enough, I guess they might eventually see what they can do. But it was interesting the first time I saw the pit times. I said, well, maybe that's just showing the total in pits, out of pits. And then We started hearing all kinds of guys having different ones and so forth and so on.
Yeah, no, I agree, because it's only if you're racing that you get to see the animation, and it's really cool because, you know, you even have the air gun sounds, and it's nice because you don't have that lollipop anymore. You got a real sign that comes down, and it's bouncing up and down.
Well, it's a good thing you did that right there, because it did hold Chris Medford, Ryan Nolan, all. Dustin German won the lottery on the shot right there. He got a 14-second pit stop and was able to bring it out. So we definitely know all these guys can make it to the end here now. So now we got us a good race and a good shootout here. And we got some very fast guys up front here. Who's your favorite out there, Rick?
That would be inappropriate for me to say, being an admin of the league.
Oh, all right. Look at that. Man with what we call it? Integrity. There we go.
I like that answer.
That's a good answer. That was a really good answer. And that's, you know, we always pick somebody up here in the booth, but, you know, it's really hard for us to pick. I watch these guys, man, week in and week out, because any of these guys can pull off a win. And, you know, we do it more or less just, say, hey, look, maybe it's our favorite, and then we ask the chat out there to do it, and they, you know, hey, you got all your fan clubs and whatnot. So my thing is, we're definitely going to see a good race here at Pocono Raceway here for the Tricky Triangle for the Racing for a Cause Cresson Kendall Company Trucking Series. And Dustin German's going to lead them to the green flag on the restart here. And when they get the restart, probably going to be about 13 to go.
And Joe, I noticed something on that pit stop too. Joshua Spalding was leading the race when they went in. He went into his pit stop. I don't know if it was a glitch within iRacing, because it looked like he was right in his box, but he went forward, went backwards, went forward again, and he had multiple problems on that pit stop, and that put him back in the field.
Yeah, I saw him there. It looked like he overshot it the first time, backed up. I was watching him on his pit stop there. But that put him back in 6th spot. You're right. Man, that's just a heartbreaker. You go in first, come out 6th. So it's going to be you know, who's who of what we've got up here. Look at that. Chris Medford, the 44 machine. And showing him up front as of right now. But you got Dustin German right there. I mean, he's going to be the man starting this one. Troy Rappard, Steve Baker. So you got all these guys have been up front most of the race here. Hang on to your hats and buckle down the seat belts. If you got a seat belt in your recliner, I always say take a picture of it. I like to see it. Maybe a story behind it, because it's about to get awesome up front here in this race.
And Joe, not to stir the pot here, but we've seen some drama earlier in the race. And Joshua Spalding in the number 9 truck and the 87 of Ryan Nolan are going to be starting right beside each other.
Well, you know, we always like drama and controversy. Racing, man, you never know. Tempers flare. It's not really a short track here, so usually not big-time tempers, but they did get together. They raced each other hard earlier on. That would be actually Ryan Nolan and Joshua Spalding. And with this amount of laps left, I got a feeling they're probably going to be racing each other hard again, as opposed to everybody up front there. So it's going to be interesting. I'm curious to see who... Now, I always like doing this. What's the over/under on we completing this thing under green?
0%.
0? All right. It has been a really clean start, so I will give them that. But you know what I know here at the end, business is about to pick up. I always say run what you brung. These guys are about to run them out here. You got friends? Well, you ain't friends no more until the end of this one.
And Joe, I'm really interested to see what the 87 of Ryan Nolan did, because we've seen him pit early. Don't know what that was all about, because he's still sitting here up in the 6th position. Doesn't look like he stayed out or anything. I don't know if you can see that on your statistics to see what exactly he took on pit road under caution, but really
only 53 seconds. So he I don't know if he got held, overshot his pit box, but that was a huge yeah, it's showing 53 seconds, almost a minute on pit road.
Well, I'm thinking he definitely got his damage fixed, but I'm just not understanding why he went down pit road during that green flag stop. Maybe he couldn't make it all the way, just not 100%.
I agree with you. I mean, well, who knows?
Well, hey, I do know one thing here. These boys are 2x2, pace car is about to come off as they're coming into 3, and tell your friends, tell your family, tell them to tune in, because we've ran almost over 200 miles here. We're getting to the end of this race, and it's going to be a good one, that's for sure.
Yep, pace cars coming out of turn 3. Dustin German up front, got Chris Metford outside of him. Right there, Steve Baker and Troy Rappert make up the second row here as it comes out of turn 3. The pace car does very slowly to let these guys in the monster trucks go to work here, hopefully for the final time here tonight. As pace cars in, Dustin German, he makes short work of that green flag as he takes off. Troy Rappert, he's on the hammer too right there as he goes door to door with the 44. As they head into turn 1, they'll go door to door, neck and neck. Blocks going on in the back there, along with Steve Baker and Ryan Nolan.
Steve Baker's going to try to block the 87 of Ryan Nolan. The 9 checks up just a bit. The 55 almost gets in him. The number 44 of Chris Medford goes to the outside of the 94 of T-Roy Radford, and Dustin German is checking out.
Yes, he is. Dustin German definitely has a bad, fast hot rod here tonight and getting it done. Behind him, Chris Medford is trying to hang on to it. Look at that. Joshua Spalding and that 9 machine, that Napa know-how. He's bringing it to the front. He says, I know how to get around the track. I know how to drive one of these bad, fast trucks, and he's doing a fantastic job. Troy Rafford all over his back end. They're coming out of turn 3. Chris Medford slides up the track. The 9 machine looks on the insides. They come out of 3. They'll go side by side. Maybe not, as he thinks twice about it and falls back in the line.
And that number 9 of Joshua Spalding, he's coming up there with a vengeance. He had some problems on pit road, but he's not letting that hold him back as he's made his way up from the 6th position to the 3rd position right now. He's got his eyes set on that 44. He's going to try to set him up right as they come out of 1, and that 94 is going to take a peek on the outside.
He does. The more they battle back there, the happier that man out front, Dustin German, is, who has the lead here coming out of turn number 1 to head down the short chute to the tunnel turn of turn 2 here. It is still three truck battle behind him, the leader, Dustin German. Chris Medford, Troy Radford, and Joshua Spalding all locked together, nose to tail in a chain. Oh, Chris almost in the wall right there as Joshua Spalding looks on the inside.
They come into the 3. Joshua Spalding's going to take full advantage that he gets right to the corner of the 44. He spins him. He gets some damage on his right front bumper. The 44, Chris Medford, still spinning. That's going to pull out a caution.
Yes, it does. They contact coming out of going into turn 3. Just a little bit, almost the same thing that we saw between Joshua Spalding and that man with the what's his number, Ryan Nolan earlier on, I believe it was. They just contact right there, pushed up the track. And 44 tried to hang on to it. Caution out. Not going to end it here, folks, yet. I know Dustin German was probably sitting there, I wish this thing would have went green. And we're going to have probably about 4 laps to go, maybe 5 laps to go when we go back green flag racing.
And Joe, I'm not sure on the rules, but do they give EOLs in this series?
That's a good question. I'm not sure. Well, I don't know. I really don't. I think they do. You know what? I should know that, but I don't.
Well, we're going to have to see, too, if that Joshua Spalding is able to keep that 2nd position. He's got some right side damage on that number 9 Napa know-how machine. Going to see if that's going to affect him.
Yeah, and either way, if he doesn't, that damage is definitely going to affect him, but it will be heartbreaking, though, to go back to the back. I mean, you know, it's just racing hard. 2 guys going for the same real estate. You know, the 9 pushed up in him. Going into the turn, got into him, made contact, caution came out here. As we see, though, that's going to open the door probably for Troy Radford right there and Steve Baker. And Dustin German's the one who is loving this. He wants another restart like he had last time. And maybe to get this, because here's the 2 things. When we go back green flag racing again, and there we go. No EOL. So there you go. But look at Joshua Spalding. He came down pit road. Is that a smart move?
We're seeing only 1 car, and that's the 44. Chris Medford is going to go with him. But we've seen the number 9 of Joshua Spalding. He started in the 6th position. He's going to start in about the 8th or 7th position when this thing goes green. He made himself up all the way to the 3rd spot. I think there still might be enough time for him to make his way up. Those 4 tires might pay off as long as he can get that damage fixed. And his car is still going to be able to be competitive.
And the bad thing is, though, I think he's going to run out of time and have too many trucks to come through. I mean, we saw that with back there with Steve and Ryan and all them. Once you get back there, I just feel like track position was very important. So I'm gonna maybe kind of question that call. I know he had some damage and maybe he thought it was worse than what it was, but hey, you're in second spot. And here's the two things. Like I said, when we go back green flag racing, it's only going to take a couple laps or so. If another caution flies, it's over with. So instead of him being, back now in seventh spot, he might make a couple up. I could be wrong, but that's a tough one.
Yeah, you're absolutely right, Joe. And also, you say he's going to make his way through the field. He's going to have to make his way by the 44, Chris Medford, and the 87 at Ryan Nolan. And those two drivers are definitely not his friend this week. Yep,
no doubt about it. And there you go. Sorry about that. Good explanation out there on the EOL, the end of the longest line. It's a way of some of the moderators can, it's almost like a black flag in NASCAR. You get a black flag, you got to go back to the back of the longest line and whatnot. So, definitely going to be interesting to see what's going to happen up here. Dustin German obviously is going to control this field, and he's going to want the start of his life here to get out front. Because like I said, when they go back green, we're probably going to have about 3 laps before, if a caution comes out again, it's over with.
So, Joe, Rick wouldn't give us an answer who he thought was going to win it. So let's add a little biasness to the broadcast here. Who you got winning this race?
I like Dustin German's chances. I mean, just because he's sitting right there on point. Let me go ahead and explain that. The reason why it's not just, hey, look, I like Dustin German. It's because he's the leader. He controls this field, and he's going to be able to get a jump, get out there. And if he gets a start like he did before and gets out front, and if Troy Radford gets back there battling with Steve Baker and Ryan Nolan, it could be lights out for them guys, man, because Dustin will just ride away in the sunset with this one. So I like Dustin German. I like where he's at, and I feel like that might be a good one. But then again, it's still a long way from being over.
You're absolutely right, Joe. And I got quite a few friends up in this league as well. But we've seen that 55 of Steve Baker, seen him lead quite a few laps. We know he's shown some really aggressive moves that have been able to get him out towards the front, and he's looking pretty good out there.
Absolutely. Sitting in third spot right now. He's definitely got a good starting spot. He'll be right behind, depending on which lane Dustin picks. If he picks the low line, he should be right behind Dustin, so he'll be able to see when Dustin goes. And that's what I was talking about. He'll get up there, hopefully get side by side with Troy Radford. They start battling. That's what Dustin wants. As for those guys back there to just beat and bang on each other and tear each other up.
Yeah, and you're absolutely right, Joe. And it's going to be an interesting one, and that's for sure. We've been about 230 miles out here, got about 20 or so, or maybe less miles. And these drivers, man, there's going to be some action out here. There's going to be some beating and banging. Out here, it's going to be kind of like short track racing at a 2.5 mile track.
Yep, no doubt about it. Lights off on the pace car. When they cross the line, will be 7 to go. And the thing about that 7 to go, it's only going to take about another 2 laps completed. If a caution comes out, it'll put an end to it. So, that's even more pressure on that man in the 28 and pressure on all those guys behind him. Now, the one guy right there, Timothy Hale's got a lot of damage. He could play a factor in this thing up there. I just got a feeling what Dustin wants to happen, he wants Troy and Steve to battle it out back there. Give him about, I'm going to say, 3 or 4 solid laps of battling. So he could maybe get a second lead and then just sail off into the sunset.
You're absolutely right, Joe, and I've probably said that about 10 times. I'm probably going to say it about 10 more before we get done tonight, because these drivers are ready to go. They're coming through turn 2, going to take one more turn into turn 3, then the pace car is going to fall off, and we're going to see some green flag action here to the finish.
Yeah, no doubt. And it's going to be very, very interesting here, because as I always say, 2 things to keep in mind. Obviously, the last lap, that puts an end to it. 5 to go, caution comes out. that puts an end to it. So we're very close. These guys could be racing for that, or they could be racing to the last lap. So that's the one thing why Dustin thinks it's so imperative that they get behind him starting the battle. And his pace car's coming out of turn number 3. He's going to take that hard left turn off on pit road. And that man up front, Dustin German, is going to go to work. He needs the restart of his life. Pace car's in. He hammers down, and he does get a good start right there. And so does Troy Ratford. And Steve Baker didn't get the start he wanted, but heading into turn 1, if they can go side by side, that's definitely going to help out old Dustin up front.
And Joe, they're 3 wide in the back. The number 00 of Timothy L held back that field, and he held back the number 9 of Joshua Spalding. He's going to be coming up there with a vengeance, but Dustin German's got about a 2-car length lead on the number 94 of Troy Radford. And we're going to see the 87 of Ryan Nolan try to look to the inside of the 55 of Steve Baker.
Yeah, looked on the inside. Boy, in the back of the field back there, they are mixing it up. 3 wide, 2 wide, all the way back there. But up front, this is exactly what Dustin wanted. He's got Troy Radford trying to run him down. Boy, he drove that thing out of turn 2 right there. They try to get up close to him as they head off into turn 3 here. It'll be 6 to go. This time, he wants that Steve Baker to get up there and battle. But Troy is ever so slightly reeling in that 28 machine of Dustin German. Oh, we got a car trucking a wall back there in the back. Looks like the 44 of Chris Medford.
That's definitely sad, but we still watch that number 9 of Joshua Spalding. He's going to go to the end. He's going to try to go to the inside of the 87. It looks like the 87 is going to try to put a blocking move on. The number 9 of Joshua Spalding is going to try to get him on the exit. And don't count that man out. He's coming.
Well, I tell you what, he's using all 4 of those fresh Goodyears to his liking right now. They won't be any rubber left on them as he's burning enough of it out there here at Pocono Raceway. Another lap, though, complete. A caution comes out. It's over. They're single file coming out of turn 2 in the tunnel turn here as Dustin German's out front. Troy Radford. Oh, car to wall. That's Steve Baker in the wall. That's going to let the 87 and the 9 of Joshua Spalding go by him.
That's definitely sad. We've seen him had a fast truck as well. As he's right up on the outside, he's just going to let him go right now. He knows he's going to damage, knows he's going to have a problem, doesn't want to hold everyone back. And look at the number 28 of Dustin German. That 94 is following right in his footsteps.
He is right there all over his back of his tire tracks trying to break the draft going down the long stretch. And like I said, caution comes out at this point. This one's over. Heading into turn 1, Troy Radford is going to try to dive down the inside. Can't quite get close enough, but he gets a run coming out of turn 1 here, heading down the short chutes into the tunnel turn of turn 2. He is definitely trying to mimic everything that number 28 machine is doing.
He definitely is. I think he's setting him up right now. He's trying to find the perfect time. But like you said, if a caution comes out right now, it's over. The 9 overshoots.
Well, I tell you what, the action, man, definitely gets you all choked up, don't it?
It definitely does. And the number 9 of Joshua Spalding overdrives that car. What's the number 44 of Chris Medford right by him?
He does. That's a bad move right there on his end because he overdrove the turn, went almost up into the wall. The 44, Chris Medford, takes that spot. And Ryan Nolan still sitting in 3rd. And like you said, Dustin German, he's having to sit right there and look out his back rear view mirror because he sees that man. If he makes one slip, one slight move, that 94 machine there, Troy Radford, will be right there close enough to pound all over him and take that lead.
These 2 drivers have checked out to about over a 1-second lead. The battle for the win is right now between these 2 drivers. Either the caution's going to come out or they're going to race to the checkered flag, but the winner will come from one of these 2 drivers.
Boy, look at that. Troy Radford looking on the inside. We've seen this move a couple times tonight. Can't quite get it done. Is he going to head into turn 3? Is he going to try to dive it down one more time here? Let's see if he can't get a nose up underneath of him. And every time we've seen a driver do that, a couple times they pushed up in it. So that's something you got to be mindful of. Don't think Troy would want to do it, but hey, you got to go for the wins. They head down the front stretch. Dustin leads that lap. 3 to go this time by.
Dustin German, the 28 truck, is holding on to every single thing he can. He's driving the wheels off of that machine. He's just trying to hold back the 94. 94 gets a run in the entry of the corner, but it looks like the 28 is going to pull off the momentum as they come down the straightaway.
They do, heading into turn 2 here for a lap number with a 3 to go. They'll cross the line, will be 2 to go. Dustin German still out front leading this one. And that 28 machine, he's got the 94 of Troy Rappert. And what an up and down race that guy's had. He almost lost it earlier on, but now he's up here in contention to try to take this win. He lost a little bit of ground right there. Maybe he's going to try to cool those tires down and see if he can't get a run back on him.
He is. I think he realized he's not going to be able to catch him by getting a bigger run on the entry, so he's going to try to build that momentum on the exit of the corner and let that momentum fly him down the straightaways.
Yes, he is. But I'll tell you what, Joshua Spalding and Steve Baker back there, well, actually Joshua Spalding and Chris Medford, are just beating and banging on each other respectively as they head off into turn 1. Well, they are right there nose to tail. That's a battle actually for the 4th place spot.
And every position matters here too, as they're battling for a championship as well.
No doubt about it. Definitely points at a premium here at every track you come to, because it can mean the difference between being a champ and not being a champ. We got 2 to go here at Pocono Raceway. Joshua Spalding looking on the inside of that 44. Looks like it's leveled out a little bit up front there between the 2 front runners, is what Dustin German definitely wants to see. But hey, Joshua Spalding, he wants that 4th place spot coming into 3.
He definitely does. They almost touch in turn 3, and it looks like, no, they do not touch. It looks like the number 9 of Joshua Spalding is going to be able to pass them. Does that say that the 44 of Chris Medford is going to pull the momentum? And up front, they've taken the white flag, and this thing will go to the checkered.
It will, absolutely. And out front, that man, Dustin German, still holds this one. The battles for 4th place heading into turn 1, the 9 machine of Joshua Spalding. That's bringing with them Gerald West, unfortunately lapped down, but boy, they are close, almost touching, coming out of turn 1, heading down the short street into turn number 2. Gerald's just sitting back there watching. Don't know if that 9 could get it done. Still, Dustin German has about a 3/10, and he turns him going into the turn.
He comes up the track, he just barely misses the rest of the drivers.
Wow, and I'm going to tell you what, right there, got in the back end of the 9 machine, got into Chris Medford. That's going to do it. But coming out of turn 3 for the final time here, that man in the 28 machine is going to walk it on home here and win tonight. Pocono Raceway for Racing for a Cause, Crescent Candle Company Trucking Series. Man, what a run. What a race. Troy Radford's going to finish it up in 2nd, and Ryan Nolan there in 3rd.
After 250 miles, Dustin German's going to take the win. What a race, what a finish. There was battles all over the track. Cannot applaud these drivers enough for the level of competition they brung tonight.
Wow, and I'm going to tell you, about speechless for some of the moves and the driving that they brought. It was definitely exciting out there, from the green flag to the checkered flag. It was just one that... I'm going to tell you, if this is how this new build's going to play out, I think we're going to see some exciting finishes, man, throughout some of these series.
We definitely are, Joe. This was a crazy race from green to checkered. We saw all different kinds of strategies, seen power wear take effect into this. What a race.
Yep, no doubt. Let's bring up our 3rd place man tonight, Ryan Nolan. Let's get speaking with him.
Ryan Nolan, this is Davis Richards up here in the OSR Network booth. Man, we seen you had a fast truck. Unfortunately, got into some trouble with the number 9 truck. Can you just take us through those last few laps?
Yeah, I had a really good truck, and it was good right up until the 9 got into us and put us in the wall. Just couldn't really get the speed out of it like I did before that, but overall, I guess the race was still a decent race for us, finishing the top 3. Yeah, I'm just happy to come home in somewhat one piece, and we'll move on to next week.
Looks like every single driver has got a bit of damage on those cars, as y'all are trucks. I'm sorry, as y'all were definitely beating and banging out there. And we got a new build out there, and we seen there was some troubles on pit road. What was going on there?
Yeah, that's something that we all kind of discovered in the first stop. It's holding all trucks, but 2 trucks seem to get their normal pit times, and the rest get stuck at 25 seconds. So yeah, depending on where you were, if you hit it right, it worked out for you, and otherwise it didn't. And unfortunately, I was hoping we wouldn't have that competition yellow. It just kind of screwed up the way I was running things. So, but it is what it is. We'll get through it and move on to next week.
Yeah, you're definitely right, Ryan. Well, congratulations on your third place finish. We'll look forward to seeing you out there next week. But before we let you go, you got anyone out there you want to thank?
Yeah, I want to thank my family for watching. They love watching you guys broadcast, and the league for putting on these races, and all the competitors. Thank you.
All right, you have a good one there, Ryan.
Thank you.
All right, that's Ryan Nolan right there. I almost choked myself up, man, over that, just like you did earlier on.
I don't want to do that.
All right, well, let's go on down here and let you get a talk in with Troy Radford, who tried to do everything he could to run down our winner tonight, Dustin German.
Hey Troy, this is Davis Richards up here in the OSR Network booth. Man, seeing you out there battling, beating and banging with some drivers. Got a new build out there today. Take us through about the tire wear with these new trucks.
You know, honestly, the tire wear didn't seem as bad a fall-off. Seems like they held up a little bit more. But, you know, honestly, the new build, to me, the trucks felt a lot heavier, you know, like they should in real life. Like they were a lot heavier, less darty. Definitely had to get a little more momentum going.
Did you see any updates there with the dynamic track?
Honestly, the track, it was really hard to tell. I mean, I'm sure that it was mentioned in the previous interview, but we had some serious issues with pit stops. It seemed like sometimes they were 13 seconds, sometimes they were 25 seconds even. So we had some big issues there, which kind of threw everything a little bit for a loop. But, you know, honestly, the track felt good. The new model, I mean, I think it feels great. There's some bugs to work out, of course, but it felt good so far.
Absolutely. Well, if you could replay those last few laps, think you would have done anything different to get past Dustin?
Honestly, it's just getting to his outside. Those Rad Racing boys with Spalding, German, Baker, and there's a slew of them. They're so good at this track, and I mean, this is their home track, so if I can just kind of stay within shouting distance of them here, I really can't complain too much. But main thing, I had one or two shots where I could have got to his outside if I really pushed it, but I don't want to race that way, so.
Well, we definitely heard that one there. Well, we'll look forward to seeing you out there next week. Congratulations on your second place finish. Before I let you go, you got anyone out there you want to thank?
Yeah, honestly, give a big shout out to my dad. He's out there watching tonight. My family and my wife for letting me get on here and do this as much as I do, and for all the guys at Racing for a Cause with everything they do.
All right, well, congratulations again, and we'll see you out there next week. Hopefully you can pull it out in victory lane.
Hey, thank you very much for doing what you do.
All right, that's Troy Radford. Did everything he could do out there tonight to run down that number 28 machine, a Dustin German. I'm going to head off down here in Victory Lane. That's going to be a happy camper there. Man, pulling it off here at Pocono Raceway tonight. Dustin German, Joe 8 in the booth. You got a copy?
Yeah, how you doing, Joe?
Man, doing good. And I tell you what, you get that Haviland truck, man, out there running. And all night long, we were seeing some wild stuff happening on pit road, wild race out there. Take us throughout this entire race. How did the truck feel to you? How did this whole build? How did the tires and all that feel to you? And awesome win, by the way, pulling it off.
Yeah, it kind of threw us a curveball there when we pitted. It was making everybody sit for 25 seconds and it would get somebody or two people a joker lap or a joker pit stop there, I was calling it. But yeah, the build feels really good, man, and it definitely changed a lot when it comes to the way the tires wear and, kind of the way the truck just feels on the track. But it was definitely a competitive race, and, man, I'm glad to get that win.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Definitely, you had a bad, fast truck. Now, on that last restart there, take us through it there. What was going through your mind? What did you have to do to get out front there?
Yeah, I just wanted to try to get a gap there on Troy, and I figured once I got out there, it'd kind of be hard to catch and pass me. That's kind of what the theme was tonight. it was a lot different in that aspect. Is when you're behind somebody, you really couldn't get the draft. Now I don't know what they really did with the draft model, but you really couldn't get that run. You just had to keep working at it, working at it. It took you a lot longer to make the pass.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Well, definitely was awesome. Hey, nonetheless, you pulled it off here tonight. Pocono Raceway here for the Racing for a Cause Cresson Candle Company Trucking Series here. Got anybody out there you want to thank for an awesome win?
Yeah, man. I want to thank Rad Racing, my team, and I want to thank you, Joe, for calling the race. I think Davis was up there with you also, and all the viewers and RFC, man. They really got a good group here, and you know what they race for, the calls and everything, man. It's awesome. Appreciate you. Appreciate everything.
Yeah, and we appreciate all that y'all do too. Definitely was an awesome race from the green flag to the checkered. And again, congratulations, Dustin German.
Appreciate it, guys.
All right, well, Davis, I tell you what, one happy guy right there, definitely pulling off the victory here tonight at Pocono Raceway here, the tricky triangle track. There, Dustin German for the Racing for a Cause Cresson Candle Company Trucking Series. Hey, we saw it all. Some wild pit stops, some awesome racing out there, tire management, fuel management. I mean, everything you could ask for in this race. Ain't got any final thoughts, Davis?
Man, what an awesome job these drivers have done. They were beating and banging out there, 250 miles, and they ended with a finish like that. Awesome job to these drivers, and I can't wait to watch them next week and see what these drivers pull out.
My sentiments exactly. Like I said, well, we're off from Extreme Motorsports here at OSR Network the next 2 nights, but if you like listening to me chit-chat and like some good dirt track action and like the Knoxville track, check me out. Look up Team VLR on iracing. And tomorrow night, I'll be a guest commentator, man, for Off Camber TV. Got to help those guys out, do some dirt tracking around Knoxville. Well, until then, we'll be back here at OSR Network on Friday night for the NGRL Show Me the Green series. Until then, everyone, have a good night.